911 for help. Sean Grayson's attorneys had argued he feared she would harm him with a pan of hot water she was handling. Reporter Brandon Morano was in the courtroom when the verdict came down.
He was sitting quietly when the verdict was read, did not move, didn't really react to it. His family, after it was read, it could be heard sobbing right behind us. We were sitting right in front of them. Massey's family could be seen putting their heads in their hands and consoling each other.
He had been charged with first-degree murder. CBS's Anna Schechter believes the jury was convinced he felt threatened.
Second-degree murder charges. Why is that important? Sentencing guidelines are completely different. He could face up to 20 years in prison instead of up to life in prison, 45 to life.
The Federal Reserve cut a key interest rate today, and for a short time, investors on Wall Street cheered. But then the Fed chair spoke. Kelly O'Grady was listening in.
Something that stuck out to me, and clearly stuck out to investors too, is when Powell uttered this phrase: a further reduction in the policy rate at the December meeting is not a foregone conclusion, far from it. So what he's saying is that interest rate cut that everyone was expecting after the Fed released its projections at the last meeting is not for sure.
And stocks finished mixed. In Jamaica, the cleanup is underway after Hurricane Melissa. CBS's Jason Allen has been surveying the damage.
Video from above the fishing village of Alligator Pond shows massive destruction. And on the ground,
roof has gone, clothes has wet up. I need some help. Please, I need some help.
power lines are down across Jamaica, roads covered in mud and water, and homes damaged or destroyed.
Israel says the ceasefire in Gaza is back on after it launched deadly airstrikes. Elizabeth Palmer reports.
For the moment, the ceasefire is apparently back in effect and holding, which is very good news, although I think anybody would admit it's pretty fragile.
An internet pioneer has been sold for a reported $1.5 billion. Tech contributor Ian Schur.
Many of us think of AOL as this older company tied to a bygone era of the internet. But in fact, it's still around, offering stuff like identity theft protection and what they say is email without as many ads.
A company called Bending Spoons says it will buy AOL from Yahoo, subject to regulatory approval. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Coming up, a Microsoft outage hits businesses all around the world. That is after Nate Connors at the Real-Time Traffic Desk.
Thanks, Aaron. As expected, volumes are picking up in all the usual spots. Let's start up north. Everett, eastbound 526 still slows coming out of the Boeing factory over to I-5. North 5, a little crowded from the Boeing freeway to Highway 2. Nothing real tough here. Everett to Marysville, 10 minutes. Seattle to Everett, Bellevue to Everett are looking good. Both are 40-minute commutes. South 5 heading into Seattle is thick at Ravenna Boulevard down to I-90. Linwood to Seattle is at 25 minutes. Our Lake Bridges are looking good. Bellevue to Renton, plan on 35 minutes. South 405 comes to a halt there at Southeast 8th all the way to Coal Creek Parkway. From there, it slowly thins out into Renton. Seattle to Federal Way, 35 minutes. Tacoma to Olympia, 35 minutes. KIRO Newsradio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO Newsradio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo. An IT outage at Microsoft impacting businesses worldwide today. KIRO News Radio's Frank Lindsay reports the problems are connected to the company's Azure cloud network.
When Azure started having problems, it meant people around the world had trouble getting access to things like Office 365, Minecraft, and Xbox Live. Ian Schur, a tech contributor for CBS News, says this is similar to Amazon's recent cloud outage.
It's not just that this system is having a bad day, it's that it could cause other systems to break as well, and it just continues to be a problem.
Microsoft's situation caused trouble for Alaska Airlines and its website and other online systems. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Microsoft says those problems should be resolved next hour. Hundreds of families are making their way to the Tacoma Dome today for a pop-up emergency food distribution center. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has more.
Many of the families seeking help are already on food assistance programs. Others have never found themselves in need until now. Food prices are high. SNAP and other food assistance programs end at the beginning of next month due to the government shutdown. Parents like Ernestine Wiggins are worried.
This don't make no sense. Everything is going to be out of control next month, and I hate to see it.
The event is sponsored by Eloise's Food Bank. They expect to help 20,000 more families than they did last month. In Tacoma, James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
As Election Day draws closer, Washington's Secretary of State is now urging voters to skip the Postal Service. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey explains.
King County's Haley Watkins says new Postal Service postmark standards meant multiple ballots in rural Washington counties did not get counted in the recent primary.
You are not guaranteed a postmark on the same day that you drop your ballot in the mail.
She and Pierce County elections official Kyle Hogg both agree with Secretary Steve Hobbs. Find a ballot box instead of the Postal Service.
That's why we provide them. They're a great source.
Election Day is November 4th. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
More honors for Mariners catcher Cal Raleigh. He's been named Player of the Year and American League Outstanding Player by the MLB Players Association. Raleigh is the first Mariner ever to win the Player of the Year award. Weather now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Increasing sunshine today and staying dry overnight and into tomorrow. Rain will start to arrive, though, on Halloween Friday. Right now looking at 59 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Due to the graphic nature of the following program, there may be certain scenes that are not suitable for some members of our viewing audience, like wusses and little wimps and weenies.
Pat Cashman, right? Huh? Let's get old, Almost Live, right? Is where we got that from?
That's correct.
Here we go, everybody. It's the John Curley Show. How's the water?
Cold.
Dive it in. Big show. Go. Wow. Much better mood than yesterday. Scale 1-10, I gave yesterday's show a 5.
Ooh.
Primarily your fault. 1-888-973-5476. Oh, quieted. He has been on my nerves. Just 2 pages of news. That's all they need.
That's all they give us.
The kids today, they just get all their news. They don't care about the newspaper, radio. They want it all on social media. They want it all. So we're going to condense it all down just to 2 pages with a stapler because we're high class around here. I was thinking, what a dystopian society. And I was writing my monologue, and I just kept getting to the end, which is, I'll give you the ending now. What'll I care? I'll be dead in 20 years. 30 if Longevity Medical Clinic all works out for me.
Come on.
83.
These days?
Sorry. Plus, this day in history, the stock market crashed. It was Joe Kennedy, the father of JFK, who got his shoes shined, and that was enough for him to be able to save the fortune of money that he was able to get as a bootlegger and a bootlicker. Not a big Kennedy fan. Rebel Without a Cause was released on this day?
It was.
Okay. LeBron James debuts in the NBA. Let's see. A truck overturns outside of Mississippi, and the cargo on board could kill you. There you go. How's that one?
Like it.
Plus, the Seattle Police Officer Guild president's coming in. Mike's coming in. Mike Stolen coming in. A couple questions for him. By the way, questions for the Seattle Police Department union guy. Got a question for him? Text it. Joe will try to get it on the list, and then we'll try to get it to Mike. 1-888-973-5476. We'll find out how he feels if Katie Wilson wins, if Bruce Harrell retains his crown as the mayor, And then, are you getting enough cops? I have a question for him. Are you lowering the standards in order to get more police officers? Isn't that, if you do that, don't we risk the safety of not only the officers, but the public as well? Trump roundup for you, all the crazy stuff. Classic move for Donald Trump. Wow. He was in China when he was doing his Indian accent.
I think it was China, yes.
Yeah. How was it, by the way?
Not great.
Back to the story we didn't get to yesterday. If we move President's Day up a week, then everyone will be really happy. Plus, air traffic controllers are apparently waiting in line for food. And finally, the media, I meant to say the Democrats, that's redundant, have now admitted, hey, if you could just get a few Democrats to vote to open up the government again, then we could move forward. Finally, the media sees the story. Plus, Bill Gates also, I always believe I believe in redemption. Bill Gates was a big supporter of the world is coming to an end. Let's all go in on this climate change crap. Let's spend billions of trillions of dollars. And now it looks like Bill woke up and was like, maybe things aren't so bad.
Can I get my money back?
The interesting thing is going to happen from this is once Bill leaves, you're going to have two groups of people. Those that are like, yeah, Bill's kind of right. And then the other are going to draw a hard line and say, no, he doesn't understand. He's caving for, capitalistic moves. The world is still coming to an end. We all need to deindustrialize. We all need to, go back to hunting and gathering and pecking and scratching. And I think, is that the whole show? That's the whole show right there. All right. Oh, it was on this day as well. Back in 2015, China announces the end of the controversial one-child policy. Problem with that now, people are like, I don't want to even have one kid. They're in big trouble in China because they have an aging population and no one's having kids. If you tell people, you know what, don't have a kid, so don't have sex, and then don't even think about having sex, and then Chinese folks in China, men and women, they don't interact with one another. They hardly date. So you basically have made a celibate country, and now they're in a world of hurt. Where's our story about buying the robot, Joe? Are we going to buy one of those robots for fun?
Sure. I'll put it back in there.
Amazon plans to replace half of the workers with robots. And then it was, I ran out of music, but Spike just said that those robots that you can buy are actually run by some guy in India.
They are currently.
Is that guy in India doing a Donald Trump imitation?
I hope so.
Okay, I was thinking, get some dystopian music ready at a certain point. Let's go back. You know the stories already about AI got to take over this and take over that, and Amazon's cutting jobs and people are losing their jobs, and AI is going to replace every single job. So I started thinking, okay, well, how can we compare this to something? Like, where are we where have we been before? Because, right, it's the people that forget the lessons of history are bound to repeat them again. And we do have a tendency to do things over and over and over again. If we don't learn from our mistakes, well, then we continue to make them. So let's go back. Let's go back to, say, like the 1900s. Okay, here's what happened in the 1900s. There were 25 million horses. There was about one horse for every 3 people. And that meant you had carriage drivers, about 2 million of those. You had blacksmiths, people that grew the feed for the horses. You also had anybody that was involved in the basic maintaining of the horse. There were about 3 million of those people, about 5-6 million people altogether that were working in the horse industry, because horses not only carried everything, they did all the work. And if you had the job in the city of cleaning up horse manure, well, welcome to the crowd of horse manure picker-uppers, because there was a whole bunch of work for you, because every single horse would drop a certain amount of pounds every single hour or something, and it needed to go somewhere. So for a while there, the horse and the people and the workers all worked together. Well, then what happened was you had Henry Ford come along and he invents this car. He puts it on the assembly line, and the price of the car goes from $750 down to about $150, and everybody could buy one. And then the horses, within about 20 years, were being replaced, and anybody that was working in the horse industry, I mean generally the economy, was also replaced. The person who was making buggy whips went from making buggy whips to making seats in cars. Blacksmiths started working in the different industry, because they still were pretty good with their hands. But generally, there was this transition from the horses to the industry and then the production of hard goods. But it took about 20 years to eventually the transition occurred. So you would think about it like when it comes to AI. AI is the brain as the car is to the horse or to the muscle. And so we are basically looking at about 1910. If you were to go back today in 2025, it's 1910. We're about to make this transition into AI, which is incredibly disruptive. So if you even put into the AI chat, how many jobs, what percentage of U.S. jobs will be gone in the next 5 or 10 years? They'll say 30, 40, or 50%. And this is where it gets dystopian. You ready? Because there was a time you would have somebody like Steve Ballmer yelling about this.
Okay, so what is the $64,000 question? Holy cow, I'm going to have to tough it up now. Here we go. What's the $64,000 question for the field? What is the most asked question that I've received this week?
Do you wear deodorant?
What the hell are we supposed to do about .net, Steve? It's a very good question, and it's got a very, very clear answer. Developers. The key to .net, the key to industry transformation, the key to success is developers, 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 developers. Developers, 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 developers. Yes!
And the developers developed AI. And then AI came for their jobs and took their jobs away. The average tech developer's income has stalled, if not decreased, by 10 to 15% because there's just no need for them. So isn't it weird that the developers developed AI and then AI took them away? Now here's where it gets weird. If all of a sudden the economy not just eliminates jobs, but then eliminates the need for workers, what happens? People still have to eat. They still have to buy stuff. We still need to have an economy. Scratch the idea of capitalism and free market because that's going out the door. What happens? Well, let's assume a couple of things. And just for the sake of argument, or to fill the next 4 minutes before Nate does traffic, let's say there's just one AI company. That AI company now produces everything that we possibly need, and then it'll be taxed by the government. The government will then take that money and then it'll distribute it to all of us because so many of us won't have jobs. So we'll get our little check every single month from the government, from AI, from the computers that will then determine whatever we're supposed to get. Again, stop thinking about the free market. Stop thinking about capitalism. Your needs will be met as according to the government from the taxes that are collected from AI. There will be a closed loop. It won't grow much because you won't see more efficiency. You won't see more consumerism. You won't see people outdoing one another in a competitive world to bring down prices, to increase productivity, to increase wealth. It'll just be a closed loop where everybody will get a certain amount of money every single month to take care of our basic needs. Basic being the key word. The other part of it is this. Who is the government at this point? Are we really going to have two separate parties? Because think about it. If the one party's in control and it's receiving all the taxes and it's giving you everything, what does the second party come along and offer? We're going to give you more? Really? How will they get it? Will they go to AI, to this AI company, and promise that AI something more? What could they possibly offer them? It's not a free market or a corrupted market that the government creates when it tries to get into the free market. It'll just simply be a closed loop where everybody's needs are met, but nobody has to really worry about having any competition about anything because, again, there's no need to compete because there's no efficiency because there's no dollars to exchange. It's just a closed loop of money, chasing money, chasing money. It's a weird world we're coming into. And this is where it gets to the end of my monologue, where I wrote, what do I care? I'll be dead in 30 years. And I told my brother that today. He said, yeah, but what about your kids and your grandkids? I'm like, I don't have any grandkids, and there's not a lot I can do. In fact, there's nothing any of us could possibly do about it, other than realizing that you have two choices at this point. You can be an innovator. You can be one that decides to gain more knowledge and try to stay ahead of this giant wave that's coming, or you can sit back and wait for someone else to take care of you. I am afraid that we have learned to have the government take care of us. And the government doesn't care about us necessarily until they need our vote, and then they just promise us more crap so that we'll give them their vote. And then what do you get out of it? You lose more freedom, but you get more comfort, and you end up having either AI or the government tell you what you're going to eat, where you're going to live, and what you're going to wear. And again, as much as I love Longevity Medical Clinic, I don't want to live for another 40 years because I don't want to see this happen.
No shred of optimism.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
No, because it's power all, focused into one area, right? Because again, once you eliminate the free market and competition, somebody trying to do better than somebody else and provide a better product at a better time, that's innovation, and then the world is served better for that, right? But I again, if you break that system, I don't know what happens. It comes into place. I think what might happen is, I just sort of think about this. You could have the world divide into two groups. You could have one group decide, I'm not going to be a part of that. And then you could get into a bartering society. And then we go back almost to, back in 1925, where 30% of the population was in the farming world. You produce food. We could actually get into, well, I'll produce food and I'll make this, and we'll just barter among ourselves, and we'll have human connections with each other through the exchange of, I'll make this and you make that, and I'll get this and you get that. You could have a divide in the community, in the world itself, like in the United States, where some people decide not to be a party to that, not to be a party to the AI government, monthly income, and they just sort of take care of each other through bartering. That could be a possibility.
There you go.
I don't know. Something happy. There's happy music in there. Any kind of happy music would be kind of sort of.
Oh, I thought that was happy music.
Oh, here we go. How about this one?
Y'all crazy.
It's the dirtiest song we play on the radio.
But you're so good, I'm on top of it when I.
That is the song that you chose as the introduction.
That's Nick's walk-on song.
Yes. I'm doing you all night. Scratches all down my back to keep me right on. Hey.
Here comes Nate. Nate, check it on traffic. Nate,
This report brought to you by the Emerald Queen Casino. Mountain Lake Terrace, South 5 at State Route 104. We've got a collision. It's on your left shoulder, but it's real close to sticking out in the HOV lane. Only a minor backup at the scene. It's North 5 that slows down at the scene and has created a solid backup starting way back in Northgate. So Seattle to Linwood is going to take you a half hour. Add 15 minutes if you're heading into Everett. Bellevue to Everett, at 50 minutes, you're slow between 520 and 522. Bellevue to Renton, 35 minutes. South 405 now thick from Northeast 8 to Cold Creek Parkway, and then you'll start to thin out. Seattle to Federway, 35 minutes. It's slow from Interurban Avenue to 516. And good news, we just keep getting better news at Tiger Mountain. All lanes are now back open. Westbound 18 approaching the summit. You're in about a mile and a half back up through the area. The Emerald Queen Casino is the entertainment capital of the Northwest, the best place to watch all your favorite sports, featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, kiosks, and more. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
You've heard me talking about K2 Vision RLE, and I only have 56 seconds left to explain exactly how it works. You know what that means? You probably have about 5 to 10 minutes worth of questions. Let's do this. Let's agree to sign up tomorrow for the webinar. That's going to be tomorrow at noon. K2visionrle.com. I'll just give you the highlights, as they say. So you ready? If you're over the age of 50, you don't want to wear contacts or readers, and you're concerned about cataracts, RLE. K2 Vision RLE is going to be the answer for you. These guys have done more than 100,000 of these procedures. They've done them for me, 5 minutes on one eye, 5 on the other. And you're thinking, well, what's the recovery like? Well, that's a good question. Sign up for the webinar tomorrow at noon. And then I came back in the next day. Hey, did it help your eyes? There's another good question. Find out exactly what happens afterwards, how long it takes to recover. Is there recovery time? Is there financing? A whole bunch of questions you're going to have. But I can tell you this. It works. Again, if you don't want to wear readers or contacts or glasses, you need to be able to sign up for this webinar tomorrow. It's K2VisionRLE.com. That's tomorrow at noon, K2VisionRLE.com.
Top of the hour news, Heather was doing the Mpox story, and I said, what's Mpox?
The Jake and Spike Show.
I remember when the transition happened because the word monkeypox was deemed insulting.
Weekdays, noon to 3.
Who is it insulting to?
Monkeys.
Anytime a monkey heard you say monkeypox, they just kind of side-eyed you doing, hey, what are you talking about?
It's a show of respect.
Those primates were so sensitive. Pardon me, monkeys.
Watch the Jake and Spike Show live on YouTube or the KIRO Newsradio app.
Right now at Les Schwab Tires, it's the Fall Tire Fest. Save up to $120 instantly on select sets of 4 all-weather tires. You'll get year-round, all-weather performance, no matter what Mother Nature throws your way. And every tire comes with America's best tire warranty. 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. Just another way you'll get more from less. Stop by a store or shop online at leschwab.com. Limited time offer while supplies last. See leschwab.com/sale for details.
I'm Macy House with Baird Global Investment Banking. In today's markets, global financial capabilities aren't worth much without personal attention to your priorities. Baird Banking, Research, and Private Equity professionals are located across 3 continents, sharing more than investment expertise. As employee owners of our firm, we all have a personal stake in your success, here in the Pacific Northwest and around the world. Discover the Baird difference. Visit rwbaird.com/Seattle.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Hey, Mike Salk here. Who's got family coming to town this holiday season? I know I do. My parents will be staying at my house for a few days over Thanksgiving. And obviously, you want to make sure your home is prepared. You want to present a warm environment. And that starts with a well-heated, properly insulated home. Make sure your insulation is ready for that challenge this year by calling Crawl Pros. They'll come to your house, just like they did at mine, do a free corner-to-corner inspection of your crawl space and your attic. If your home has damaged insulation or no insulation in the attic or crawl space, get it fixed before the cold weather really shows up. If you're a PSE customer and your home was built before 1990, you could qualify to receive a rebate on up to 95% of the cost to properly insulate your crawl space and attic. Yeah, 95%. But you got to act now because many of these rebates are ending at the end of the year, including federal incentives. Call Crawl Pros. They're the crawl space experts and learn what's going on behind that crawl space and attic hatch for free. Then see what energy rebates you're eligible for. Go to crawlpros.com.
Looking for a high school that nurtures both the mind and spirit? Archbishop Murphy High School is where academic excellence meets faith-based education. With a 100% graduation rate and a college prep program designed to challenge and inspire, our students are prepared for whatever the future holds. But it's more than just academics. Archbishop Murphy's robust athletics, arts, and co-curricular activities ensure that every student finds their passion and thrives. Archbishop Murphy High School believes in educating the whole person. That's why we offer a vibrant campus life where students grow not only academically, but also spiritually, socially, and physically. Don't just take our word for it. See it for yourself. Schedule a visit and discover how Archbishop Murphy High School can help your students succeed. Visit am-hs.org. IRG Physical and Hand Therapy proudly supports Archbishop Murphy High School, where your story begins. am-hs.org.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. More than 30 years after the crime, a man is found guilty of killing a Renton woman and her little boy. KIRO News Radio's Frank Lenzi has the updates.
A King County jury has convicted 55-year-old Jerome Frank Jones in the 1994 murders of 23-year-old Stacy Ann Falcon Dewey and her 3-year-old son Jacob. Renton police found their bodies on a dead-end road on October 28, 1994. DNA helped investigators link Jones to the killings. He was already in prison in California for an unrelated murder. He'll be sentenced in this case on December 12th. Frank Lenzi, KIRO News Radio.
Microsoft kicked off its fiscal year with better than expected earnings. CEO Satya Nadella says the company's first quarter sales grew 18% to nearly $78 billion.
It was a very strong start to our fiscal year.
The results coming a day after a new deal with OpenAI pushed Microsoft to a $4 trillion valuation. Shares in Microsoft have dropped, however, as the company is managing an IT outage affecting its cloud computing services worldwide. There is a call for Washington state now to use its greenhouse gas fighting law to help fight fires. KIRO News Radio's Heather Bosch explains.
After the deadly Labor Day weekend wildfires of 2020, the state legislature passed a bill to spend $500 million over 8 years to fight and prevent wildfires. But facing a budget deficit, legislators cut this year's allotment in half. The original bill's sponsor wants it fully funded next time around, adding,
Climate Commitment Act dollars are going to be on the table.
Representative Larry Springer says it makes sense.
The carbon that's thrown into the air by a wildfire is astronomical.
Heather Bosch, KIRO News Radio.
A popular local pizza chain is shutting down nearly every one of its restaurants. The Rock Wood-Fired Pizza is closing 6 of its 7 Washington locations. That includes Renton, Tacoma, and Puyallup. The co-founder says rising costs and rents made it too hard to stay in business. The Rock's Auburn restaurants will remain open. Now to the real-time traffic desk at 3:32. Here's Nate Connors.
This one brought to you by the KIRO Radio Rundown. All right, Mountain Lake Terrace, South 5 at State Route 104. Disabled vehicles on your left shoulder, but it's real close to the HOV lane. Thanks to Adam, the truck driver. We now know a truck lost a wheel, and that's what they're working on. Traffic starts to slow near 196th. Once you get through this, your next backup is from Lake City Way in the downtown. Linwood to Seattle will take you a half hour. Going the other way, North 5 slows down at the scene of this disabled vehicle, and you're backed up to Lake City Way, Seattle to Linwood, up to 35 minutes. Add another 20 minutes now if you're going to head into Everett. Bellevue to Everett, 50 minutes. Bellevue to Renton, 35 minutes. Our lake bridges are looking good. Seattle to Federal Way is a 35-minute drive. Pretty heavy now from the Duwamish Curve to 516. And again, all lanes have reopened. Westbound 18 heading up Tiger Mountain Summit after a few hours closure. Text newsletter to 888-973-5476 and subscribe to the daily KIRO News Radio Rundown. Get the latest news and updates from your favorite KIRO News Radio shows straight to your inbox. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
And your forecast now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. For tonight, we're staying dry with increasing clearing. For tomorrow, partly cloudy, and then showers, rainfall will arrive Halloween night. Right now, 59 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Home Comfort Alliance. Heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, the only ones to call. Plus, with the quilt ductless system, you'll be able to control the temperatures in all those rooms of yours. Until AI takes over.
Yeah, how are they going to do that with horses?
Joe had a theory over the just during the commercial break that you said that you think there's going to be some catastrophic
Global
event
catastrophic event
that's going to wipe out like 40% of the population.
40 to 60.
Okay, 40 to 60, and then it's going to change everything that way.
Yep. the rest of us will come together as one human nation and sort everything out. It'll be great.
So during the Black Plague, the Black Death that wiped out 40% of the population, right, in 1345 or something like that, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, well, there's nobody to dig the grave, so you're going to have to pay me. Right. And the price, everything went way sky scraping up, and, people got out of the sort of serf mentality. And then even King Edward III or something said, oh, yeah, we're going to put no wages can go up. No one's allowed to get paid anymore because there was just nobody to work because everybody's dead. Somebody has to dig the graves.
Yeah, jobs galore.
Okay, there you go. So that's your plan.
That's it.
A catastrophic thing. Just hope you're not one of the 40 to 50% that go out. Day in history. We're talking future. Now we're going to a little history here. So let's see. Sir Walter Raleigh is executed. Well, that's not positive for Mr. and Mrs. Raleigh, the grandkids. 1901, McKinley assassination. His assassin is executed. That guy was crazy. That's my take. He thought that McKinley was like talking to him in a dream or something like that, and yeah, I think he owned a tavern. I have so much just crap floating around in my head. Check that out. See the guy that tried to kill McKinley. See if he owned a tavern. I thought he did. 1929 stock market crashes. Black Tuesday it was called. A rebel without a cause. LeBron James in 2003 joins the NBA. Okay. Was he a tavern owner?
No, I was born in Michigan. He worked at a mill company. Don't think he owned a tavern. He was an anarchist.
That's right. Okay. Let's do this one. Let's do the Roaring '20s and do the stock market crash because it's a crazy fun story. Here, let's go back to the 20s, everybody. Yeah, sure, see? This is what people used to talk like in the 20s. Here's what happened. It was 1918, and the war was over, and the men all came home, and they found the women doing jobs. Well, the men and the women were doing jobs together, and the economy was just booming. Absolutely booming, because let's not forget, it was also the time that the industrial age was roaring, and you were able to produce a car on an assembly line. There was jobs everywhere. This was the age of consumerism, and you could get a radio set, you could get a car, you could get anything you wanted. And banks were like, yeah, sure, we'll lend you money. And that's when credit started. Well, that's when all the economy started booming because now all of a sudden there were all these dollars flying everywhere. The stock market went crazy. Within a short period of time, it was almost 6 times the value. Well, somebody's like, hey, what do you want to buy next? I don't know. I've already got a radio, and a radio is all you'll need for the rest of your life. Nobody ever said that, but at that point, they're like, hey, I've got all this extra savings. I'm not going to just stick it in the bank. I'm going to put it in the stock market. So they would go to the bank and they'd say, hey, Mr. Banker, man, what do you say you lend me some money so I can put it in the stock market? The bank's like, sure, what do you need? He's like, I don't know, $1,000? So the bank would lend money to the guy to be able to buy stock because the stock market was going crazy. The problem is the economy about 1925 started to slow down, but nobody really noticed. Europe was still devastated by the war, but everything was slowing down, but it didn't stop anybody because people were like, hey, Mr. Banker, what do you say we lend me some more money so I can buy some more stock? Sure, here you go. Well, and then the stock market goes nuts. In fact, it skyrockets, and everyone's like, this is great. Look at all the money we're making. Again, don't forget the economy's slowing down. People aren't buying as many radios or anything else that's out there. Then all of a sudden, on one fine Wednesday morning, Joe Kennedy, the father of JFK, happens to stop to get a shoe shine. And the shoe shine boy goes, I got a couple of hot tips for you there, Mr. Kennedy. If you'd like, I can tell you which stock you should buy, because I just bought some stock as well. And Kennedy said, you bought stock? What do you mean you bought stock? How can you buy stock? And he's like, oh, I bought some stock because the money I get. See, I bought some stock, and I'll give you some tips. And Kennedy's like, well, I'm no fool. He goes back, and he gets and takes all of his money. He shorts the market because he thought to himself, wait a minute. The music stopped all of a sudden. Kenny said, wait a minute. If this kid can, if he knows stocks, then everyone's buying stocks. I'm getting out. So he gets out. And then, that was on a Wednesday. The next Tuesday, the stock market collapses. It starts to fall about 11%. The next day, it falls 12%. And don't forget, this is all borrowed money, or most of it's borrowed money. So people are like, oh my God, a third of those people that were in the stock market lost everything. All of their savings gone because they borrowed money from the bank to put into the stock market, and now it was cratering. 12 million shares fell on the first day, then another 12%, so a third of the value falls as well. And people at this point are panicked. The banks are panicked as well because they lent all this money. They're not going to get the money back. So then there's a run on the banks. And people are like, I got to get whatever I got out of there. A third of the banks begin to fail within about 2 weeks. And then at this point, no one trusts the banks. It's like, hey, I'll sell you my car. Sure, fine, I need the money. Oh, good. Well, I'll put the money in the bank. I'm not putting the money in the bank. I'm going to put the money under my mattress. Now there's no money to move around. It freezes everything. And the feds that were supposed to be doing their job sat back and did nothing. So there's no money, nothing's moving, no one trusts the banks have no money to loan, and everything comes to a complete and utter stop. And then at this point, 25% of the population is out of work because there's no production, there's no capital, there's just nothing. And then Hoover says, well, you know what, how about the Smoot-Hawley Act? What we'll do is we'll bring tariffs up, and we won't allow international trade to come into the United States, and then because they're undercutting everything, so we're going to just tariff the hell out of them. Well, then Europe is like, well, then hell, we'll tariff you as well. And you go, tariff you, we will tariff you. So then there's nothing. They fall into a depression. We're in a depression, and we're just stuck from 1929 to 1939. The Dow falls 90% of value. And then FDR comes in and says, no, hold on, everybody. You need to have faith in the banks, and I'll make sure that all banks will have money behind it, and don't worry about it. And if that doesn't work, I'll just go to war, which he did, and he saved the economy. And there you go.
Cuba, that's where I
This is wild.
I have questions.
Wild time you're on. Yes.
So, the two things from that story that sound similar today are the shoeshine boy giving stock tips.
Yeah.
That reminds me of like the prediction and betting markets that are everywhere today. Everyone's a day trader. Everyone's trading crypto, all these invisible, useless things that everybody's pouring money into.
Right.
That seems similar, right? There's just things with nothing value. Everybody's throwing money at things that they think.
Well, with crypto, there is a limited supply, right? You're a limited supply. There's only, until they make more, but, to the blockchain. But let's say there's 1,000 units, and what will you give me for part of that union? It's basically because there's a limited amount, the value goes up, and we're all in agreement. I'll sell you $100 worth, and you'll give me, $100 worth. I bought it for $60. You give me $100. Now it's gone up in value. You have some money from the trade, right? But it's all basically agreement that we're all going to have it. The problem with the Depression was they were lending money on nothing. There was no production underneath, because don't forget, 1925, the economy was starting to slow. People weren't buying as much stuff, but the banks kept lending on the idea that we'll just throw the money into the stock market. But there's that bubble there, and when it started to crash, everybody had to get out. It was free, easy, cheap money that caused that giant fall. But with crypto, you think that there's nothing underneath?
Well, I mean, with Bitcoin, there's a limited supply.
Yes.
With meme coins,
with memes, it's a totally different thing.
And everybody,
like somebody like yourself buys and then tells me to buy unicorn fart dust.
You're not blaming me for that.
Oh, please! How much money did we lose on that?
A couple grand. But that was your friend's tip.
Yeah, but then you were the one. We should do this, and then you go, hey, we should get back in, and we kept putting money into the thing.
I don't remember that.
Andrew?
I remember that whole thing.
I do too.
Fine. I didn't hear about that. I didn't hear what happened afterwards.
No, because we didn't want to talk about it because we were so
embarrassed.
We're underwater.
We are. He's coming back, everybody. Get back in there. All right, here comes Nate checking traffic. Nathan.
John, out in Monroe, actually between Monroe and Snohomish, Highway 2 at 100th Street Southeast, traffic comes to a screeching halt in both directions. No confirmation yet from WashDOT what's going on, but there are 2-mile backups in each direction. Mount Lake Terrace, South 5 at State Route 104. Look out for a disabled vehicle on your left shoulder because it is right next to that HOV lane. Traffic starts to slow back at 196th. Again, once you get through this, you're in the clear until you hit Lake City Way, and then from there, it is thick into downtown eastbound. In fact, down to I-90. Linwood to Seattle's up to 35 minutes. Seattle to Everett and Bellevue to Everett are both 50 minutes. I-5 slows from the U District into Linwood. 405 stop and go between Kirkland and Bothell. Crossing the lake from Bellevue, looking pretty good on 520, just 15 minutes. 25 minutes on I-90. Tacoma to Olympia, looking good, taking just 40 minutes. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
I got to tell you, I feel like just going to the top of the hill and screaming, "Thank you, Dr. Mark Wagner, MD." Without sounding like Oprah Winfrey. Here's my quick story. Again, because I sit there and talk to people, you feel like an old geezer talking about, "Oh, I got a bad hip. Oh, I got a bad knee." Well, here's what happened. I got a bad hip, went to the doctor. He looked at the MRI, looked at the x-rays. He's like, "Man, you got to get a new hip." I was like, "What is that?" "Well, we're going to saw off the femur. We're going to put this thing in there and that." I was like, whoa, I got to get a hip replaced? I'm 60 years old, 62. He said, oh, you're too young. Come back in 3 or 4 years. I said, wait a minute. I'm going to live with all this pain? So I thought, nope. I knew about stem cell. I knew that Dr. Mark Wagner's done 20,000 of these, so I thought, we're going to be in good hands with this guy. I go in. Immediately, I'm taken with his expertise, his confidence, and just generally the feeling that this Dr. Mark Wagner has helped thousands of patients. So I said, let's do it, baby. And sure enough, about 3 weeks ago, I had the procedure done. I came on and did the show that day, by the way. I got a great hip. I feel great. I ran for the first time in like 7 years. You got a bad hip, shoulder, elbow, knee. Dr. Mark Wagner, MD. drmarkwagnermd.com.
Celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football.
Touchdown Seahawks! Steve Rabel made the catch.
Number 96, Cortez Kennedy. He was as wide as he was tall, and he was in the backfield, terrorizing quarterbacks and throwing them to the ground, and wrapping up running backs and throwing them to the ground before they knew what hit them.
Since the beginning, KIRO is where Seattle and the Pacific Northwest have heard the Seahawks play. Here's to the next 50 years.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
The team that gave me back my full head of hair, Advanced Hair, is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Dr. Perungo and his world-class team begin regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And Advanced Hair guarantees your new hair will grow, just like they did for me. Find out why Advanced Hair is the best of the best. With your free consultation, you'll receive $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
One day, the words on the page blur. You hold the menu a little farther away. It's subtle until it's not. At Near and Far Vision Partners, we help you see clearly, near, far, and in between. Expert surgeons, advanced technology, sharper focus for every moment. Schedule your complimentary consultation at nearandfarvision.com or call 425-900-2414. Near and Far Vision Partners in Bothell.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Hey, listen to this. All I needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things. Like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed. From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Did you know that nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all? That may be the reason why your home is way too hot in the summer and way too cold in the winter. It may also be the reason that your energy bills are sky high. Right now, Insulation Northwest is offering a free inspection of your home's insulation. This is a $199 value and it's absolutely free, no obligation. Just call today and Insulation Northwest will arrange a time that works with your schedule. We'll perform a thorough exam of your home's insulation and give you the advice you need to start saving thousands. Everyone who calls today will also receive a free infrared screening of your home using the latest technology. This will help reveal any hidden flaws in your home's protective energy blanket. What do you have to lose? It only takes about an hour and it's absolutely free. Call Insulation Northwest today, the real insulation company.
InsulationNorthwest.com. The real estate market is picking up and you want to sell with the best. You need to work with the Novak team. Mike Novak guarantees to sell your home in 21 days. If not, he'll sell it for free. Go to meetthenovaks.com. I'll spell it for you. Meet the Novaks Novaks.com.
Once again, homeowners have voted Valentine Roofing the best roofing company in the Pacific Northwest. That makes 3 years running. Hey, this is Jake Skorheim. I'm confident that when that red Valentine van pulls up to your house, you're going to get the same Valentine experience I did. Seamless communication, meticulous cleanup, and a team that always goes the extra mile. If your roof is leaking, if you need new gutters, attic insulation, even exterior cleaning, give Valentine Roofing a call. You'll get a lifetime warranty on all new roofs and zero down financing. Call 206 Roofing to get your free estimate today.
Any questions for the head of the Seattle Police Union? Anybody? Any questions for Mike? Anybody?
Oh,
Joe?
Hundreds of them. I'm cataloging them as
Okay, you do that. Take care of that. Okay. In the meantime,
Asking questions is a good way to find out things you want to know, right?
Wow.
Well, Teeny.
Jeez.
Where'd all that come from? Yes, you're right, Teeny. That's exactly right. That's we will have questions for things we want to know about. All right. So the truck is going down the road in Mississippi, and it's carrying a whole bunch of monkeys that are coming from one lab going to another. I think it's from Tulane. Is it Tulane? Yeah. And then somehow the truck overturns, and
we are live in Jasper County at I-59 around mile marker 117 with a wreck that has exotic animals loose. These monkeys could be dangerous. We got law enforcement here. Here's the truck where the accident is. Now here's one of the monkeys right here. Let's zoom in on this so you can see this. There's one sitting right there. I've seen 2 or 3 climbing out the back here. He keeps coming out the back of this.
Is this the reporter?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I was going to say.
Trailer. One right back there. Now, again, each one of the crates have monkeys in it. We have one that's escaped on that side of the road in the northbound lane. And then we've got more possibly in this direction.
Right. So the question is, are these monkeys dangerous? Could I possibly get a disease from these monkeys? And then NBC reports.
Authorities are searching for 3 lab monkeys that escaped in Mississippi yesterday, and that was after a truck that was transporting them from Tulane University.
Wait, 3 escaped, but like 40 of them were in the truck, and I think they destroyed all. They did, yeah.
It crashed. Sheriff's officials said that the truck's driver mistakenly told deputies at the scene that the primates were aggressive and carried several infectious diseases.
Based off of that information, they say they, quote, took the appropriate actions to destroy the rest of the monkeys.
But the other
Tulane
3...
University later released a statement saying the primates belong to a third-party research organization.
Oh, okay.
NBC News correspondent Kathy Park joins us now. So, Kathy, what is the latest on those 3 monkeys that are still on the loose? Do they pose any threat to the public?
As of this afternoon, according to the Jasper County Sheriff's Office, 3 monkeys, as you mentioned, still on the loose, and an unknown number of escaped monkeys have been killed. Initially, though, officials reported that these primates were carrying diseases, including herpes and COVID.
Yeah, but then we thought that wouldn't be a good idea to tell people.
But then later on, in a statement from Tulane University where they were being housed, they said that the animals were not infectious, had no disease prior to transport. But regardless, these are lab
Regardless, run for your life.
monkeys, not in their natural habitat. They're kind of roaming around right now. At least that's what we believe, and should not be approached by.
There's an entire island with these monkeys on it. Like, I don't know how many, 1,500 of them, and no human can go there because these monkeys, called Monkey Island, carry with them hepatitis B.
Really?
Yeah, and they could give it to humans, and it's on Monkey Island. It's called, and you can drive by, but then they're all there and
you drive by on a boat.
Dirty, stinking apes. That move right there.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we're safe now because they're not going to be able to get over the Mississippi. Okay. Let's check with Nate, see if there's any monkeys out there on the roadway. Nathan?
Yes, sir. Up in Everett, I don't see any. North 5 at Union Slough. We do have a fender bender, though, taking up your HOV lane. You're backed up to the Snohomish River. Everett to Marysville is taking about 15 minutes right now. Between Monroe and Snohomish on Highway 2 at 100th Street Southeast, traffic comes to a halt in both directions. Again, I haven't got any confirmation from WashDOT what's going on, and there are no cameras in the area, but I do see a 2-mile backup in each direction and growing pretty quickly. South 5 to Mountain Lake Terrace at State Route 104. A disabled vehicle is on your left shoulder. Traffic starts to slow near 196. This is going to be with us for a while. Turns out it lost its front axle in a wheel. Once you get through this, though, your next backup isn't until Lake City Way in the downtown. Linwood to Seattle, 35 minutes. Seattle to Everett and Bellevue to Everett are both at 50 minutes. Bellevue to Renton, 35. You're heavy from mid-Bellevue to the VMAC. And Renton to Puyallup, southbound 167, a 50-minute commute, heavy volumes between Renton and Kent, and then thick again through Pacific and Sumner. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
I had a discussion with Nick the other day because she said, where are you going? I said, I got to go over to Longevity Medical Clinic, get my blood drawn, and then I get a test again. She says, why don't I go into Longevity? I don't want you to outlive me. I said, well, why do you say that? She goes, because longevity is going to give you a longer life, and then you're going to outlive me, and then I'm going to go, and then you're going to find some younger chippy to replace me. I was like, what the? Huh? I'd never do that. It's best just to encourage your wife to sign up at Longevity Medical Clinic with you as well. So Nick has, and she went in for the first blood draw, and they looked at a bunch of indicators that you're in pretty good health, but we see a few things that we'd like to be able to take care of to slow down, to give you a longer life. So the two of us together are going to Longevity Medical Clinic to live a long, healthy life together, to look for the early indicators of heart disease, diabetes, and cancer, to look for the early indicators, and then do everything we can, working with the good doctors there at Longevity Medical Clinic to keep them away as long as possible. You want to find out more? You and your wife, your spouse, your husband, whoever you are, want to live a long life with, take that free health analysis at longevitymedicalclinic.com.
A 55-yard interception return by Easley.
Celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football.
Number 45, Kenny Easley, as pure an athlete as has ever played that free safety position. Saw him the very first day of training camp after his first-round draft choice. All of us veterans looked at each other and said, we've got something here, and we sure did.
Since the beginning, KIRO is where Seattle and the Pacific Northwest have heard the Seahawks play. Here's to the next 50 years.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with a Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
No, it's not too soon to start holiday shopping. Ulta Beauty's early Black Friday event is happening now through November 22nd. Shop $10 beauty minis from brands like MAC and Too Faced. Take 30% off Lancome and Touchland fragrances and body mists. With new offers dropping every week, our associates can help you find the perfect gifts. Head into Ulta Beauty today to shop our early Black Friday event. Ulta Beauty. Gifting happens here.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Let's go!
Listen to this. All it needed was a new starter. Got a great deal on eBay. Did it myself.
Yeah, that's cool. But how about the soft purr of an upgraded exhaust when it fits just right?
For me, it's the little things, like these new windshield wipers from eBay I installed.
From small fixes to big upgrades, eBay has all the parts you need at prices you'll love, guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The stock market's on fire. AI stocks are performing at all-time levels. We hope you, like many of our investors, have taken advantage of it. A famous man once said, buy low, sell high. There's also $8 trillion of cash sitting on the sidelines. Investors are either scared or they don't know where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares profit with our investors. We've been doing it for 19 years, averaging double-digit returns with zero investor losses. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital and invest in our family of funds. From a 3-year investment with double-digit returns to only a 90-day commitment returning 7%. We also accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at legacyg.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at legacyg.com.
You're halfway through a DIY car fix and boom, you're missing a part. It's okay because whatever it is, it's on eBay and it's guaranteed to fit every time. eBay, things people love.
Jamaica cleanup after Hurricane Melissa.
There was flash flooding. It's destroyed parts of the island.
Guilty verdict in ex-Illinois deputy's murder trial.
Grayson, he just kept his eyes on the judge.
Big meeting between Presidents Trump and Xi.
There is so much at stake.
This is the CBS World News Roundup Late Edition. I'm Jennifer Kuiper. Cleanup and repairs begin in Jamaica. This after destruction caused by Hurricane Melissa. This resident rode out the 185-mile-per-hour winds.
It was terrible. The wind, it was violent. It was terrible.
Dozens of people have died across Jamaica, Haiti, and Cuba as the storm now threatens the central Bahamas. CBS's Jason Allen checks out the damage in Santa Cruz, Jamaica.
Video from above the fishing village of Alligator Pond shows massive destruction. And on the ground,
roof has gone, clothes has wet up. I need some help. Please, I need some help.
power lines are down across Jamaica, roads covered in mud and water, and homes damaged or destroyed.
Jamaican officials say 77% of the country is without power. Former Central Illinois Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson is convicted of second-degree murder in last year's shooting death of Sonia Massey, a black woman who called 911 about a possible prowler. At the time of the shooting, Massey was holding a pot of water. Grayson's attorneys argued that he was afraid she would throw it at him. CBS's Jerika Duncan was in the courtroom.
Guilty of second-degree murder. I immediately looked at the families of Grayson as well as Massey. Massey's family was sort of stoic. I think in speaking to some of them beforehand, they were hoping for the most serious charge in terms of the conviction, which is that first-degree murder.
President Trump in Asia says the U.S. will share closely held technology to allow South Korea to build a nuclear-powered submarine. The comment comes after his meeting with South Korea's president and ahead of tonight's meeting with China's President Xi Jinping on the sidelines of an economic summit. CBS's Weijia Zhang in South Korea.
He has expressed optimism after his trade negotiating team had breakthrough talks over the weekend. And now the president says he's optimistic that they will be able to come to an agreement and they'll be able to strike a deal.
AI chipmaker NVIDIA has become the first $5 trillion company. The Federal Reserve cuts its key interest rate by 0.25 percentage point to hedge against growing labor market risks, Fed Chair Jerome Powell.
The shutdown of the federal government will weigh on economic activity while it persists, but these effects should reverse after the shutdown ends.
With Powell warning that more help is not guaranteed, stocks closed mixed. Now this.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Not only does Progressive let you bundle your insurance, they also give you round-the-clock protection. Quote today at Progressive.com.
Recovering from a worldwide IT outage at Microsoft. That's after Nate Connors at the Real-Time Traffic Desk.
Thanks, Aaron. We already cleared our crash up in Everett North 5 at the Union Slough, and that earlier backup behind it is cleared out as well. Over toward between Monroe and Snohomish, whatever blocking problem we had there on Highway 2 at 100th Street seems to have cleared. We still still have big backups, but they're beginning to thin out at the scene and working its way back. Mountain Lake Terrace, South 5 at State Route 104. Look out for a disabled vehicle with a bunch of IRT crew on scene with them. It's on the left shoulder, but right next to the HOV lane. This is a vehicle that lost its axle and front wheel, so it's going to be with us for a while. Again, once you get through this backup, you're clear all the way to about Lake City Way in the downtown. Looking pretty good. Linwood to Seattle, right around a half hour. Seattle to Everett, 50 minutes. Bellevue to Everett, 50 minutes. I-5 slows from the U District into Linwood. 405 is pretty solid now between Kirkland and Bothell. Bellevue to Renton, plan on 35 minutes, and Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway is a 50-minute commute. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle. KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. Microsoft says it is close to resolving a major IT outage affecting its Azure cloud platform. CBS News tech contributor Ian Schur says the issues popped up around 9 this morning as the company was updating its systems.
So that suggests that they were going through some sort of a software update or changing some sort of feature, and that's what caused all of this to get broken.
The outage affecting businesses all around the world, including Seattle-based Alaska Airlines. This was the third IT issue for the airline in just 4 months. KIRO 7 TV found frustrated flyers at SeaTac Airport struggling to check in.
We see this line that went way down there. So we've been in line for about an hour and a half now.
But no reports of any widespread delays or cancellations at Alaska Airlines today. The Tacoma Dome is hosting a pop-up emergency food distribution center today. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch reports.
Families waiting sometimes for hours to put food on the table as we see SNAP and other food assistance programs being cut because of the government shutdown. The event is sponsored by Eloise's Cooking Pot Food Bank. President Andrea Blue says they are helping people now they've never helped before.
They've driven across other counties, from Olympia, from Kitsap County, from Seattle, to come get food at this distribution.
Each car gets a box of food with 9 meals plus fresh vegetables and a protein. In Tacoma, James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Washington Secretary of State is warning voters not to rely on the mail. He says ballots sent now may miss postmark deadlines and go uncounted. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey reports.
If you want your vote counted, drop your ballot off at an official ballot box. That's the guidance from Secretary Steve Hobbs. While the rule is if your ballot is postmarked, your vote counts. Under new Postal Service standards, there's no guarantee your ballot will be stamped the same day the Postal Service collects it. Bottom line, Pierce County Elections official Kyle Hogg says,
you need to make sure that you're getting your ballot postmarked. You're going to utilize the mail. You can't just rely on putting it in the box in front of your home.
Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
And your weather update now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Dry tonight, partly cloudy for tomorrow. Rain arrives Halloween night on Friday. Right now, partly cloudy skies, 58 degrees in downtown. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Hi, you've reached the John Curley Show, listener introduction line. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you enjoy the show. Thank you.
I have to tell you, when you get to serve as governor of the best state in the country, you get to hear some of the good things we've done together as a state. But frankly, this is the most gratifying and actually the most frequent thing that I am thanked for of people in the state of Washington. And it is so I got to tell you, it's just such a joy when someone will come up to me in the grocery store and just tell me something that is coming from their heart. It's not just politics.
Wow. All of that was on our voicemail?
Yeah, he gave us a call. It's the most important thing he's done as governor.
Oh, I got it. Okay. I see what you did there. There we go. Only a few days away from the election. Everybody wants to talk about whether or not we've got enough police. So Seattle Police Chief Barnes is celebrating the department's data release on Monday that shows the agency is on pace to hire 150 officers in 2025. That's an increase Here we go.
The Seattle Police Department is the best choice for any applicant considering a career in law enforcement.
It's part of a new ad campaign aimed at bringing more applicants to Seattle, adding to the 150 new recruits this year.
We're now on 150, and we're going to continue going, bringing in good qualified people to help serve this amazing city.
Chief Sean Barnes says the department has seen a nearly 20% increase in applicants this year.
I am thoroughly impressed with just the diversity of experience. A lot of our new recruits speak multiple languages.
Seattle just solidified a new contract with the Police Guild, bumping starting pay to around $120,000 a year. All of it, Barnes hopes, will be enough to restaff the department.
I think we'll be able to see more people on the street, which is my priority, more people in patrol, more people who are answering calls for service, reduce response times. I hope we can have that conversation in a year.
How does Mike Solon feel about that? Mike is a 25-year veteran, Seattle Police Department, the president of Seattle Police Officers Guild and the United Coalition for Public Safety. He's a national public safety expert and host of Hold the Line with Mike Solon, which is available every podcast and wherever you stream to get your favorite podcast. Mike is there. All right, so numbers are up.
Numbers are up. It's a good thing. It's amazing what a contract can do.
Yeah, because you guys, how long do you work without a contract? How does that work?
Well, we typically go without a contract, say 2 or 3 years expired, I think, for the past 12, 13 years. And to me, it's unacceptable. But I credit the Harrell administration for recognizing that we're in a public safety quagmire, as I usually refer to it. And they thought outside the box, and they got serious at the table, and we did as well, our contract team, and we put a deal together that I think the constituents across the city will want to have more cops.
So when you work without a contract, as you guys did for all those years, should they prorate it? Do they go back? You haven't paid us anything new in the last 5 years, so we're going to front load all that, and we're going to do all this, right? They eventually have to pay you.
Yeah, it's called a retroactive package that, you have to get. Granted, you bargain retroactive money. It's not necessarily a right. You have to bargain that. But a lot of the cops like the retro payment because sometimes it's a large sum of money.
Yeah.
But you've experienced 3-4 years of an expired contract and less of a COLA and cost of living. And sometimes it's not really that great to have that big of a check come in because you've got to pay the taxes on it. But then you're not treated with current wage or benefits that we feel would be reasonable.
The other thing that the Seattle shoots themselves in the foot with, even though they don't like guns, is they don't hire enough. You don't have enough. So then you get all this overtime. So these guys are racking up the overtime numbers. And then when they decide to punch out and retire, they're going to take all that, right? And they do the math equation, which is you take the highest amount for the last and how many years served, but when then they punch out with a nice big retirement pension coming to them. Primarily because they didn't have enough on staff, so then they had high, overtime numbers. And then they look at these overtime numbers, it's because you don't have enough guys to be able to be out there on the street every single day.
That's the cost, the political cost, and the public safety cost for anybody in the political realm that supported police defunding. This is what happens when you defund the police, people. There's consequences to those draconian decisions where you're now at half the size of an agency where we should be at a population of our size. And then on top of that, it's difficult to recruit qualified human beings to fill a uniform because the profession's been vilified for so long, blamed for society's problems, a false narrative, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're up against it. And the only way that they can get out of this hole is to throw money at the problem. And that's overtime. That's less time away from your family. It leads to burnout. And that leads people who are contemplating overtime, hey, maybe I've had enough here. It's time to move on.
Plus, also at roll call, there's a certain number that you have to hit every single day. So you go into roll call and you see the people that are there. They basically say, how many of you guys want to do another shift? Right? Because how many is legally, what's the roll call number you have to have on the street?
It depends upon what hours you're working.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, every precinct, every day, every watch, whether it's first watch morning, second watch afternoon, third watch night, are below officer and minimum safe staffing levels. That means it's going to take whomever's working. For instance, in the South Precinct today on second watch, there was 2 or 3 priority 1 calls. Those are major emergent calls for cops to go to. Drop everything and go.
Yeah.
We had 5 people for the entire South Precinct. So you get on a call that's priority 1, you probably got to have at least 4 of those 5, if not all of them, handle that call at the time. However long it takes to figure that out, then who's watching the rest of the precinct? This is the situation that this defunding nonsense has put this city and the community in. It's decimated this agency, and it's going to take years to unpack what this calamity turned out to be.
You know, it's not just defunding, Mike. It's devaluing the character of the individual that is the police officer and what they stand for.
That's a great way to put it. I always, on top of that, I always say that the activist class, the leftists, have done a remarkable job, and I'm using remarkable sarcastically. They've removed the calling for a human being who wants to serve, who wants to be a police officer, to give back. Now the only thing left, because they vilify the profession so badly, now the only thing left are benefits and pay. Sadly, that's what's occurred. So there's a vacuum here now where you don't have enough people, and now they're boasting about all these numbers to get people into the door.
Yeah.
But when you're targeted as a human who wants to do that profession, but yet time and time again the media portrays you as somebody that you're not, well, common sense would say, why do I want to go to that profession and get vilified that way?
So if you look at a cop, a lot of these guys come out of the military. They didn't join the military because of the money. There was no, in fact, there's less money in there. So they go into the military because they want service. They like the idea of camaraderie. They like the idea of getting out there, getting something done, right? Then they come out of the military. They're like, I've got all these skills. I like the camaraderie. I've learned how to serve. I'm going to become a police officer or a fireman, right? But then when you cut out the heart, the soul of that individual, and then you just dangle $120,000 in front of somebody, you're not getting the same type of person, Mike. You know what I mean?
That's right. It doesn't really move the needle. So then you get somebody who's just more focused on gaining something.
Yeah, because even Joe, look at that guy. Even, Mike, you're in charge of the union. Even that guy was thinking of becoming a cop.
Joe, you represented. I got your back, buddy. Well,
look at him.
Ready to sign.
Look at him.
Ready to sign.
You don't want that guy? Right? Because he's like, well, for $120,000, I think I'll do that. But it's like 7 months ago, I was telling him about a flagger job that you can be on a highway and get paid $60 an hour, and he was thinking about that as well.
Well, hey, man, we're hiring.
See?
All right, so then the question becomes, using Joe as a perfect example, are the standards being, I won't say lowered, adjusted in order to get those numbers up?
I got to be careful.
You do have to be careful.
I got to be careful what I say.
So,
there.
if we get through this interview without you having to clean up,
well, here's the deal.
Go ahead.
I will answer that question. I would say it would take a common sense approach that if you're desperate for bodies, you may have to move the needle a bit to put somebody forward in a background packet to get hired that, when we were flush years ago, probably would not be taken in today's environment.
Okay.
That's the position. That's why I go back to defunding. They don't realize what they did, or maybe they realize what they did. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the problem. So then I've railed against this on my podcast, is that potentially then this becomes a union problem if the agency, the city, hires somebody that not necessarily was qualified to take the position.
Right.
And then here we are 2-3 years later, we're facing discipline and embarrassment of the police in general, because one bad apple can make us all smell bad, right? So
yeah.
That's the problem.
Right, because then all of a sudden you do hire a bad apple. They come in there because they've lowered the standards, and then you have to start all over again, right? Like the guy that what do they call the guy that who was the guy that got shot? Because he was
the woodcarver, John.
The woodcarver, right? Okay,
John
that guy that shot him, because he was on the distance was like 30 feet away. He had an open knife, but he was sort of stumbling around. He was drunk at the time. He should not have been shot. That was the beginning of it. Now that guy ended up, going out of the service. But look at the stain that it put on that, right? And then the one guy that was, kicking the guy that was in the convenience store. So then we had the consent decree, by the way, that thing was total and absolute. I wish I could curse on this show. That thing was nonsense. The consent decree comes in, costs the taxpayers of Seattle millions and millions and millions
North
and
of
millions.
$220 million.
How much?
North of $220 million.
Right. In order to, adjust the behavior of the police.
Well, yeah. Well, I could have a whole show on that.
We go on that. You're going to get in trouble.
I got passionate on that one. I've covered it on my podcast many times. It's like, listen, I say it was a financial grift to put on on behalf of the agency. And if you look at consent decrees across the nation, we support consent decrees. We think that they're needed, but they need to be reformed. And what they're being used for is for financial gain. And they destroy agencies and cities.
Yes, they do.
That's the reality.
Every time there's a consent decree that is placed on those police officers, you see homicides increase, you see violence increase, you see crime go up because the police don't do on view. Because I'm not going to get out of this car. I'm not going to risk a pension. I got bills to pay. I got a kid in college. I'm going to stay in this car. I'm not going to get out of this car because if I get out of this car and say something to these two individuals, look like they're going to square off, one's going to shoot or stab the other one, I'm going to keep right on going because I don't want to have, to be called in and have something in a file on me. I just want to just keep on going. So that gets the on view and on call. And I said this because I tried to get a request from the department to find out how many people are actually doing on view. The on view numbers have come down.
Oh, yeah.
And why do they come down, Mike?
Just because what you just adequately described. People don't believe the energy is or the juice is worth the squeeze.
And why is that? Because people are not behind them?
Yes, we have an overbearing, unreasonable accountability structure in the city of Seattle where the activist groups, who are a very small minority of people, claim that they speak for the city, the community. It's not accurate. So now we have them over the course and scope of this entire Department of Justice consent decree. And then if you look at, people can Google it up online, look at the 2017 Police Accountability Ordinance, read it. It's a behemoth of a document. And if I go open that can of worms to describe to your audience what that calls for, you'd be hard-pressed to even want to apply to the police department. That's why the union is so relevant. And I know right-leaning audiences don't particularly like unions, but there's a difference between police unions and police associations from regular unions, in my opinion. We actually are the ones that can stand up to truth and call people out. That's our job. We have to fight for the cops. It's not. We always want to push back against false narratives. We don't back bad cops. In fact, we're the ones that want to clean out bad cops because we all want to save the profession. We believe in it that much. That's the calling. Mm-hmm. We want to protect it. So the accountability structure is what is in essence in every contract negotiation. That's what the activists scream about at council hearings. Not enough police accountability. I'll close on this with this accountability conversation. The Seattle Police Department is by far the hands down the most accountable agency in the United States of America, period. I say that with confidence because I run a national group, UCops, where we compare stories about police accountability across all aspects of our profession. They want more. So unpack that police accountability ordinance. That's in essence why we are always, more often than not, out of contract because we have to deal with that behemoth. And then the activists will always call for more accountability. Mind you, it plays into having a job. If you're an activist that calls for more police accountability, guess what? Welcome to a city that will give you a salary to continue to bark about more accountability when we already are. So to your point of why would somebody want to be proactive to go stop that person, when more often than not, if they do make an arrest or it becomes a use of force, it's more paperwork for them. But will that person then be charged? More likely not. But then the accountability system impacts that officer where they're potentially faced with discipline. If somebody claims that there's bias with an arrest, then here's this whole process of going through this investigation, and then more often than not, it's deemed that there's no bias, but it takes that cop's morale into the gutter.
Yeah, but the bias is so evident on the activist side. All cops are bastards. Let's get rid of them. I don't know what they would replace you guys with. Let's just talk quick about politics. So we've the people of Seattle have a choice: Kitty Wilson or retaining Mayor Bruce Harrell. It looks like the numbers have come out just recently, a couple of days ago. The polls don't show that. It looks like Mayor Bruce Harrell's going to have to chance to get on LinkedIn and maybe look for another job.
Well, I can tell you right now, there's no other candidate out there that's done more for public safety from a cop's perspective, from a union perspective, than Bruce Harrell. Granted, I understand there's pressure points there. You had him on your show, and I thought you did a great job interviewing him.
Thank you. Oh,
okay?
Thank you, Mike.
Well, I mean that. The alternative doesn't look rosy for us, right? But we have to maintain relationships if their candidate gets into office. I have to play that both sides.
Yeah.
But I can tell you right now, we have to push for a moderate. And there's some tongue-in-cheek of what a moderate is considered in Seattle.
Yeah.
But I can tell you right now, I credit Bruce Harrell's team for getting serious about public safety in terms of the police contract, wanting to retain and recruit cops. I got to pump their tires. I can't go against them. But as you know, I've had issues with the Herald administration in the past, and we've gone publicly in our spats. But right now, I got to credit their team, and I think they read the room.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing everything they can to get reelected.
I think a moderate in Seattle would be somebody to be described as they have the blue hair dye, but it's in the cabinet in the bathroom.
Well, hey, you know what? Feel free to change your hair color and come to the city of Seattle and be a police officer. We'd be happy to have you.
Someone like Joe?
Absolute Joe. We're hiring, man. Look at the new contract.
You got Patrick, my old producer.
John, we're even hiring, buddy. You can come on.
I'm 63.
No age discrimination. We're a welcoming city.
Let's do it.
Okay. Wow, Mike, that's one way to go.
Could they partner us up together? Can we come in as a package?
It's going to be so much fun, like in those TV shows. We get to jump over the hood of the car.
There you go.
Mike Solon, I appreciate your compassion, your direction, your commitment to safety for the people of Seattle, but most importantly, having the backs of the cops that are willing to put their life on the line.
Always.
Thank you. All right, there's Nate checking traffic. Nathan.
Thanks, John. Let's see. We'll start you in South Center, where we just cleared about a minute ago a collision South 405 just past Interurban Avenue. So we've got a heavy backup still from the Boeing Access Road down to 516, Seattle to Federal Ways at 40 minutes. Over in Renton, North 405 at State Route 169, the Maple Valley Highway. A crash blocks your right lane. You're backed up into South Center. South Center to Bellevue will take you 25 minutes. Well, once you get through this backup, you're clear all the way up to 520. From there, northbound 405 is pretty solid into Alderwood. Bellevue to Everett just hit 1 hour. Seattle to Everett pretty close at 55 minutes. You're heavy from the U District through Linwood. Crossing the lake from Bellevue to Seattle, 20 minutes on 520. It's a half hour on I-90. Tacoma to Olympia, 45 minutes. Pretty slow along the length of South Tacoma from State Route 16 into Lakewood. And then just a brief backup at the JBLM main gate to get through. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
All right, you're going to watch your hair begin to disappear. The crown disappears. The hair begins to thin. Next thing you know, it feels like it's robbing you of your identity. That's exactly how I felt before I visited Advanced Hair. You see, Advanced Hair's got this simple one-day treatment. And they regrew my own natural hair. They do the exact same thing for you. Because as you look in the mirror and you do notice that your hair is beginning to thin, you do have a couple of choices. You could just go bald, a collection of baseball hats, or do what you really want to do and just get your hair back. Put this problem behind you and then move on because you got your hair back and you feel great. Set up a free consultation, $250 off. $250 free hair graft at 425-449-8185. And you don't want to wait because your own natural hair, this is your own hair, is guaranteed to grow. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. So give them a call at 425-449-8185. That's 425-449-8185. And check out the before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
Touchdown, Seahawks! Celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football.
Number 54, Bobby Wagner, linebacker, one of the finest of his generation. He set just about every tackling record that can be set. He was the heart and soul of one of the best defenses to ever play in the National Football League.
Since the beginning, KIRO is where Seattle and the Pacific Northwest have heard the Seahawks play. Here's to the next 50 years.
Hey, Brock Ewart here. It's such a joy for me to be joined by Shannon O'Kelly, President and CEO of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Shannon, I've heard so much about traveling physical therapists. What's that mean to you and IRG?
That's a great question, Brock. Traveling physical therapy right now, I think, is a fad, and a lot of young therapists are doing it, but they're missing opportunities that we provide here at IRG. And those things we provide at IRG are really important, and that's being part of a team and treating patients, building relationships, engaging with our community. That is so important. The other thing is they're not getting paid time off. A crew are paid time off, and they do not get continuing education, professional growth, and that is so important as a young therapist to have access to professional growth. The other thing is we have an enhanced compensation program here at IRG that our physical therapists, our occupational therapists can increase their earnings by engagement, outcomes, and intervention. That's what we're all about. We're about building a great culture for young therapists and all clinicians to work here.
Openings across the whole company. Head over to irgpt.com/careers, irgpt.com/careers.
With football season comes cooler weather, so if you need new windows and doors, don't drop the ball. Steve Rabel here. Call on locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington to tackle your project. Their wide selection of windows and doors always beats the competition, and they'll give you top-notch customer service with no trick plays. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
Whatever temperatures this winter brings, your friendly and knowledgeable Bryant dealer is ready to help. Your dealer is committed to achieving a high level of training and skills backed by outstanding products from one of the industry's most trusted names, Bryant. Whether you need a quick fix or an entirely new heating system, your local Bryant dealer will do whatever it takes for your family's comfort.
Schedule an appointment today. Visit BryantNorthwest.com for a dealer near you. Bryant, whatever it takes.
The stock market's on fire. AI stocks are performing at all-time levels. We hope you, like many of our investors, have taken advantage of it. A famous man once said, buy low, sell high. There's also $8 trillion of cash sitting on the sidelines. Investors are either scared or they don't know where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares profit with our investors. We've been doing it for 19 years, averaging double-digit returns with zero investor losses. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital and invest in our family of funds. From a 3-year investment with double-digit returns to only a 90-day commitment returning 7%. We also accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
If you're wearing glasses or contacts, but you need reading glasses or bifocals now, you need to join Drs. Kopstein and King for the K2 Vision RLE live webinar this Thursday at noon to learn about refractive lens exchange from K2 Vision RLE. This free webinar is a perfect opportunity to meet the doctors and have them answer all your questions about K2 Vision RLE. Questions like, how much does RLE cost? Is financing available? Does insurance pay for RLE? These questions and lots more will be covered this Thursday at noon during the K2 Vision RLE free live webinar. K2 Vision surgeons have performed over 150,000 procedures. They know when RLE is right for you. K2 Vision RLE. No glasses, no contacts, no readers. Plus, no more cataracts. Don't miss the free live webinar this Thursday at noon. Register at K2VisionRLE.com. K2VisionRLE.com. That's K2VisionRLE.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granello. Microsoft is still having problems with its Azure Cloud network nearly 8 hours after a major IT outage. KIRO News Radio's Frank Lenzi has more.
Because so many sites and businesses use Microsoft's cloud service, an outage like this one can have widespread impacts. Ian Schur, a tech contributor for CBS News, says Microsoft, Amazon, and Google all make big money renting out space on their computer systems.
The internet's basically broken into 3 different groups. That means that when one of them has a bad day, we all feel it.
Last week, a massive outage of Amazon's cloud computing service took down a broad range of things online, including social media, gaming, food delivery, streaming, and financial platforms. Frank Lenzi, KIRO News Radio.
And today's outage came as Microsoft posted a strong earnings report. Total revenue hit nearly $78 billion in the first fiscal quarter. That's an 18% jump from a year ago. Well, we now know more than 2,300 Amazon workers here in Washington need to find new work. They're among the 14,000 employees being laid off by the company. KIRO 7 TV spoke to one of the affected workers who just moved to Seattle to work for Amazon.
Was just starting to form a community, but I don't know if I stay in Seattle or if I move to find another job.
Total job cuts make up about 4% of Amazon's corporate workforce. Strongest storm to hit Jamaica cut a path right across the middle of that island. CBS's Jason Allen is tracking destruction caused by Hurricane Melissa.
The main road through town is down to one lane that is covered with mud and water and rocks, and all of this came from mountains which are in that direction. So when you had those torrential rains from Melissa come through, it all ran down. It used the streets basically as a drainage area. It turned into that huge river of mud. It pushed past homes and businesses, and it carried all of this debris with it.
And the death toll from Melissa is rising. At least 4 bodies have been recovered in Jamaica. More than 20 people were killed in Haiti. Washington U.S. Senator Maria Cantwell is demanding answers from the NBA amid a betting scandal. Cantwell and Senator Ted Cruz sent a letter to Commissioner Adam Silver urging transparency after federal indictments accuse players and coaches of rigging games and leaking insider info. The senators call it a matter of congressional concern. They say the integrity of basketball is at stake. Let's go now to the real-time traffic desk at 4:33. Here's Nate Connors.
All right, Renton, North 405 at the Maple Valley Highway. A crash blocks your right lane. You're now bumper to I-5 in South Center. South Center to Bellevue is climbed a half-hour drive. Again, once you get through this lengthy backup, you're clear all the way up to 520. And then from there, another backup keeps you solid all the way into Alderwood. Bellevue to Everett, 1 hour. Seattle to Everett, 55 minutes. It's heavy from the U District through Linwood. Everett to Seattle is a 50-minute drive, 35 minutes from Linwood. And really, the only significant backup is from Lake City Way to I-90. Seattle to Federal Way, plan on 40 minutes. Renton to Puyallup southbound on 167's at 50 minutes. Tacoma to Olympia, a 45-minute drive. You're slow through South Tacoma, and then a growing backup through the JBLM main gate area, about a 3-mile backup now. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Thank you, Nate. Your forecast brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Dry tonight and again for tomorrow and also into Friday morning, but we will have rain by Friday night just in time for trick-or-treating. Right now, 58 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Who is watching you in your doctor's exam room? New AI smart rooms are being used in local hospitals, so KIRO 7's L. Thomas is getting answers to your questions. Can this improve the care you receive? How is your information being used? And what are your rights inside these rooms? Watch tonight at 5:30 p.m. only on KIRO 7 News.
Thank you, Joseph. Well said, well read.
Bucky's Auto Service Centers. Bucky's. Aaron takes his car to Bucky's. Joe takes a car to Bucky's. 16 locations, he goes to Bucky's. Bucky's Auto Service Centers. 55 years. They've been around for 55 years. Okay,
50,
all right.
50
years.
Yeah, 50.
Do a rap song. You have to say your name and then what you're going to do.
That's right. You learned that from Stewie.
I'm Aaron. I'm taking my car to Bucky's. He just walks out the door. Aaron, like the older brother that like just barely puts up with us, like way older.
Yes.
Like we were, the two of us, so let's say we're twins. And we're surprise twins. Like, oopsie, we're oops kids, right? And Aaron's like 17 and we're like 5.
Too young to beat up.
Yeah, we just can't wait for us to, like, he wants to go to college.
Yeah.
Just can't stand us.
Ugh.
You just get that feeling when he looks at us?
I do. He tolerates us, though.
He does. Okay. He is the disruptor in chief. Well, we have a song for the Trump. Yeah, because here's the little Trump thing. This is we got this written by our AI machine, and we're trying to, for the people that hate him and the people that love him. Here comes Trump.
Some say he's a savior, a beacon so bright. Others scream danger, they're ready to fight. Building up walls or tearing them down. A hero, a villain, a king or a clown. Love him or hate him, there's no in between.
Yeah.
The loudest of dreams or the darkest of scenes.
Hoo-ah.
Making it great or breaking it all.
Here we go.
Trump administration's a wild
Nate, play your face. Play your face, Nate.
You got it.
Nice.
Good job. All right. So he really is the disruptor in chief, right? He did everything he said he was going to do, and he won. And he said, basically, we're going to shut down the border. Boom, did that. He said, going to bring oil prices down. They're down 23%. Did that. Tariffs, not such a big fan of that. Most amount of tariffs since 1934. When it comes to DEI, well, that's DOA. So all the stuff that he said he was going to do, he's doing. Yes, he has 217 executive orders. I don't necessarily agree with those types of things. The worst part about executive orders is the next guy that comes in, if he's not on the same team, he just takes him, throws him in the garbage, and start all over again. So a lot of the stuff that he planned to do, he said he would do, and now he's done. Now he's overseas. He's sitting down with China to talk to them because his biggest problem with China is the fact that they continue to fund Russia, which continues to go at war with Ukraine. So he's got to talk to them about that. And he also has to be able to make sure that they are in equal alignment when it comes to trade. So he first starts out with 100% tariffs. Then he comes down off of that. And there's basic challenges back and forth. But this is the way you negotiate. You ask for a whole bunch, and then you move down off of that number. So finally, he gets a chance to where was he when he was talking about all this other stuff?
He was on Air Force One when he talked about the third term again.
Okay, here he goes.
Speaker Johnson says that he told you that there's no time to amend the Constitution to allow you to serve a third term.
Amend the Constitution.
Not enough time.
Is that an accurate representation of the conversation?
I don't know. I don't want to even talk about that because, the sad thing is I have my highest numbers that I've ever had.
Where are the numbers? Trump's net approval rate is minus 6.3 percentage points compared to positive 6.2 in January when he takes over. Net approval on economy is down minus 15, inflation minus 27. Okay.
As I should. I ended 8 wars, and we have the greatest economy in history. I have the best numbers for any president in many years, any president. And I would say
the superlatives kill him.
Yeah.
Say that if you read it, it's pretty clear. I'm not allowed to run. It's too bad. I mean, it's too bad. But we have a lot of great people.
Okay, that was sort of a dumb question. Yeah, you can't run. All right, then it comes, so he's speaking in Pakistan, speaking about the conflict in Pakistan and India. This thing didn't get much attention, but the two of them were trading some rockets back and forth. Trump came in there, separated the two, trying to get some sort of peace between the two. So he slips into impersonation of Prime Minister Modi during reading the headlines. Oh, my God. This is like something my dad would do. You got to understand something. If you're a little younger, this is like this. How old is he? 77, 78? This is like classic East Coast old guy humor.
2 nuclear nations, and they said, no, you should let us fight. They both said that. They're warring. They're strong people, I'll tell you what. Prime Minister Modi is the nicest looking guy. He says, and he looks like you'd like to have your father, like, he's a killer. He's tough as hell. No, we will fight. I said, whoa, this is the same man that I know. But after a little while, and they're good people, and after literally 2 days, they called up and they said, we understand, and they stopped fighting. How is that? Isn't that amazing? Now, you think Biden would have done that? I don't think so.
Okay. He was kind of doing a long rambling thing going on, but that's not bad.
He sounds tired.
That's not a bad imitation. It was Biden did the best imitation of an Indian guy talking about you can't go into a 7-Eleven without running into a guy with an Indian accent. And then he did his Indian accent. But that was a different time when you get away with that. Social media, when it comes to Trump Media Technology Group announcing yesterday that it will soon launch a prediction betting market. Oh, my God. Why do you do this to yourself? On Truth Social, allowing users to gamble on sports and politics on the new platform.
President Trump's family business is now expanding into the betting markets. The Trump media company announcing that Truth Social users will be able to trade prediction contracts related to major events and milestones like political elections, interest and inflation rate changes, commodity prices on gold and oil, and events across all major sports leagues. Prediction markets have been booming in popularity since the 2024 election, and they are mostly unregulated, which has already raised red flags with some regulators. How this works is that you are betting against other people online instead of placing the bet at a sports book, for example. And in this case, people will get paid out in cryptocurrency, the latest example of Trump's family business deepening ties in that space. As his administration has rolled back crypto enforcement, the family business has reportedly generated hundreds of millions of dollars from their own crypto ventures. The White House denies any conflict of interest, but ethics experts point to the reality that foreign governments or investors can easily put money into these ventures and could expect something in return.
Yeah, what do they expect in return? I think the difference between this and the Biden family got about $30 million for what? Right, at least this is, it's sort of stinky. It's got like, wow, really? It's so close to the president's family. The kids are in there running this thing, and the whole thing is, it stinks, right? But at least it's not like, oh, here, take my drug-addled son and get him a good prostitute and then give him a couple of $1 million that he'll give to me. And by the way, I am the big guy, and I'm going to get 10% of everything. I mean, that the weird part about all that news is, because there's a news story came out about Biden and the auto pen, people don't give a rip about any of that because there's so much other Trump stuff going on. Yeah. Why bother going ahead and looking at that, right? Because the speed in which news moves, nobody goes back and goes, Biden let all these guys go. They gave him all, let them all out of jail, and some guy let out of jail. He just shot and killed somebody. Like, who cares? Look what Trump's doing.
I don't even remember what Biden looks like.
He doesn't either.
Some say he's a savior, a beacon so bright. Others scream danger, they're ready to fight. Building up walls or tearing them down. A hero, a villain, a king or a clown. Love him or hate
him. Here comes Nate on his face. Get ready, everybody.
Dreams are the darkest of scenes.
Come on, Joe.
Making it great or breaking it all. The Trump administration's a wild free for all.
You cheated.
We should take that on the road.
There's no checking traffic on the road.
All right, North 405 in Renton at State Route 169, the Maple Valley Highway. We still have this crash in your right lane. You're back to bumper to I-5 and South Center to Bellevue. It'll take you a half hour. Again, once you get through this hefty backup, you're clear all the way up to 520. Everett to Seattle's a 50-minute drive. The only significant backup from Lake City Way to I-90 got a little slow in there through Linwood. Northbound 99 heading into South Everett is packed from Lincoln Way to 112th. About a mile and a half back up here where we might have a new collision there at 112. Bellevue to Renton, 35 minutes. You're solid from 520 to 112th in Newcastle. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeways at 50 minutes. Tacoma to Olympia is inched up just a bit, taking 50 minutes. You're slow through South Tacoma, and then about a 2 to 3 mile bumper-to-bumper backup near the JBLM main gate. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
All right. By the way, you hear the Fed's dropping again interest rates. This is even better news because now people are like, okay, I'm selling my house. That's great. Houses go on the market. This is a really good idea because you've been waiting. Now, you've got to make sure you choose the right realtor because you're competing against everybody else that was waiting just like you were. Get Mike Novak now before your neighbor does because Mike Novak's going to sell that house of yours. How sure is he? He'll put his money where his mouth is. He says, Mike Novak says, if I don't sell your house in 21 days, you don't pay me a commission. He's going to be out that money because Mike Novak spends 70 times more than the average agent when it comes to marketing the house to make sure that it gets seen and shown and sold. Mike sells more houses than anybody else because he simply out-hustles everybody. This guy is hungry to sell that house of yours. He's going to get you top dollar. Best way to get in touch with Mike Novak is meetthenovaks.com. That's Meet the Novaks. I'll spell Novak for you, Novak. That's meetthenovaks.com.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
Every time I turn around, my friends at Pure Talk give me one more reason to feel good about switching. This month, for instance, they're supporting Canines for Warriors, a terrific organization that trains rescue dogs and then pairs them up with combat veterans struggling with PTSD. The result? They're saving lives on both ends of the leash. This is why I switched to Pure Talk. I like being in business with an American wireless company who shares my values. Yeah, I appreciate unlimited talk, text, and plenty of 5G data for just $25 a month, and I bet you will too. But I think you'll really appreciate doing business with a company who gives back to the men and women who volunteered to defend our country. Just dial pound 250, say micro. With Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team, you can switch in as little as 10 minutes. Again, dial pound 250, say micro, to switch to an American wireless company who actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
Once again, homeowners have voted Valentine Roofing the best roofing company in the Pacific Northwest. That makes 3 years running. Hey, this is Jake Skorheim. That's why I was confident when that red Valentine van pulled up to my house, I was going to get the Valentine experience. Seamless communication, meticulous cleanup, and a team that always goes the extra mile. Valentine Roofing helps you protect what matters most and backs every new roof with a lifetime warranty. But they do more than just roofs. If you need your gutters cleaned or installed, attic insulation, even exterior cleaning, and custom holiday lighting, you can count on the pros at Valentine. And if you have a leak and need help now, with Valentine's Leak Stop Guarantee, they'll stop the leak in your old roof for free until your brand new Valentine roof can be safely installed. Because Valentine doesn't just replace roofs, they protect homes, and they start protecting yours the moment you call. And with flexible financing options, including 0 down and 0% interest, taking care of your home has never been easier. Go to valentineroof.com or call 206-ROOFING and get your free estimate today. That's 206-ROOFING.
When you walked through your kitchen this morning, what'd you see? Did it make you happy? Hi, I'm Chad Cicchini, owner of Heritage Homecraft. Well, I want to make you happy. We'll custom build you all new cabinet doors and drawer fronts, and using our exclusive 1/4-inch solid wood refacing process, transform your existing cabinets into a beautiful new kitchen. Add a custom quartz countertop, change things up a bit, add some more cabinets, install some cool new features like soft close drawers and sliding shelves, whatever you like. We'll help you to create the new kitchen you'll be proud of. All in about a week, and all with way less mess, hassle, time, and expense than to tear out. Stop waiting. For 18 years, we've been honored to serve thousands of happy customers, and we'd love to serve you. Call today and I'll get one of our pros to come out and show you how easy and comfortable it'll be to get going on your new kitchen. Heritage Homecraft, 425-485-1600, 425-485-1600, or heritagehomecraft.com.
Dr. Mark Wagner has performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures, including mine, at Seattle Sports Regenerative Medicine. And we've interviewed over 100 of Dr. Wagner's patients, and we hear the same things. It changed my life. I'm back to doing the activities I love without pain. It really works. It's remarkable.
We love helping people get back to living life to the fullest and doing the things they enjoy most.
They also must really enjoy not having the pain and recovery time with surgery.
Stem cell therapy is a 60-minute, non-surgical, minimally invasive procedure to eliminate pain, regenerate cartilage, treat tendon and ligament tears, osteoarthritis, and chronic tendonitis.
And you only use the patient's own stem cells.
That's right, their body's own stem cells.
So whether it's a hip like me, an elbow, shoulder, or knee.
Don't forget ankles, wrists, and thumbs.
Yep, those patients too. Before choosing surgery, see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD first. Learn more at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Your time is money. So why are you wasting it stuck in I-5 gridlock, TSA slowdowns, and SeaTac crowds? Isn't it time to travel smarter? Seaport Airlines offers high-frequency commuter shuttle service from Seattle's Boeing Field to Portland. Park for free next to our terminals. Check in 20 minutes before your departure. Get there faster without the hassles. Seaport Airlines. It's about time. Book today at flyseaportair.com.
The insurance world, it can be confusing. So have First Mark Insurance guide you through it by taking the free First Mark Challenge. They'll explore offerings from top carriers for better coverage and lower rates. They save the Heward family thousands. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
We not talk about that on the air? Look at Andrew. Okay, I am all for this. When Tom and I used to do the show together, he was all for this as well. This makes just perfect sense. Here's the way it would work. So we learned this yesterday that President's Day, I think, is 2 weeks after the
it's a week after.
It's a week after. So it's a week after the Super Bowl. The idea would be just move President's Day up and then let everybody take off on that Monday as opposed to having to wait. Because most people on Super Bowl Sunday, they drink a whole bunch, they eat a whole bunch, they've spent the 4 months learning Spanish, and they can't wait to sing along at halftime with a man that hates America, and they want to be a part of that. And then they want to take off on Monday. I don't know how many people call in sick on Monday. That would be an interesting statistic. Put that up there, Joe. Go dig it into that Google 80 machine and see.
The loss of revenue is in the tens of billions, I've read.
Right. Just see what percentage of people call in sick on Monday after the Super Bowl. And by the way, your boss knows. Yeah, I'm just not feeling so well. I don't want to get anybody else sick. Bull.
2% allegedly.
2%? 2% of the workforce?
Yeah, which is, that's
a lot of people calling in
people.
sick. Yeah. So generally it would be move up President's Day and then allow that to be the holiday. This makes sense. Why not? What do we lose? First of all, we lose enough money already by having national holidays. It cost all the taxpayers money. So just give it to them after the Super Bowl's over.
And this is another holiday that you're going to insist that we work, right?
Yeah, I don't. Why would we get
out of this?
What do we care necessarily? I don't care. No, we work all those holidays because what are we gonna do? It was funny when I was a city councilman in Sammamish. I remember saying, "Why do we have city council meetings on Tuesday?" Well, the old mayor used to like to watch Monday Night Football.
Wow.
So that's why we have meetings on Tuesday.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I hate meetings on Mondays anyway, regardless of what I have going on that night.
I just hate meetings in general.
That's fair.
Yeah. So do we know if that thing's going to go through?
No, it's not a thing. It's just a...
No, who would have to determine to move it?
I would
Trump could do a
Congress or something?
Number 219 executive orders and move over.
Put it on the stack.
That one, if somebody else comes in from the other team and decides they're going to get rid of that one and return it back, people will be so upset about that.
Yeah, that's a career end.
Let them have it. Let them have to take off on Monday. Again, because we're going to learn all that Spanish and we want to sing along with Bad Bunny. All right, here comes Nate checking traffic. Nathan.
Thanks, John. We cleared that collision in Renton, North 405 at State Route 169, but it left you with a nasty backup starting in South Center. In fact, starting at I-5 in South Center. South Center to Bellevue is going to take you a half hour. Bellevue to Renton coming the other way. We're closing in on a 40-minute trip. It's bumper to bumper starting at 520 down to Cold Creek Parkway, and then you're going to clear out right away all the way down to South Center where there's another pretty thick backup down there. Seattle to Federal Way, 50 minutes. It's solid from Interurban Avenue to State Route 516. Everett to Seattle, 45-minute drive, 35 from Linwood. Again, the only significant backup is from Lake City Way in the downtown. Crossing the lake from Bellevue to Seattle is 25 minutes now on both of our bridge routes. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
All right, I'm going to make a guess that if you're driving in your car, there might be a little plastic little sticker up there in the windshield left-hand side. It says it gives you a date and it gives you an odometer reading telling you when you should change the oil and the fluids in the car. Then you go to one of those places and the guy, you pull up and then he pulls out this piece of paper and he shows you what the fluids look like. You're like, yeah, go ahead, change them off. Why? Because you want to take care of your car because your car takes care of you. Because if the car breaks down, it's a whole bunch of problems for you. You put a whole bunch of money into the thing, so let's take care of the car. When it comes to your body, especially if you're a guy, you're like, well, whatever. This is just what happens when you get older. Why? You have to ask yourself why. Why do you lose flexibility? Why do you lose the ability to focus? Why are you losing the vim and vigor? You know what I mean by that? Just simply by getting older. You don't have to just get older. You can work with the good doctors there, Longevity Medical Clinic. For 25 years, they've used the latest science to extend your life. They were the first ones in this business. They know exactly what they're doing. All you have to do is take the free health analysis at longevitymedicalclinic.com.
Your favorite Seahawks gear? Check. Face paint? Check. The Mike McDonald preview on KIRO News Radio? Check.
We want to win the game.
Seahawks head coach Mike McDonald joins the voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel, in the final interview before every Seahawks game. Friday mornings, the Mike McDonald preview, only on Seattle's Morning News.
I'm really proud of the work that we've done. I'm proud of the guys' spirit.
This is where the 12s hear the Hawks. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
Rain-X wipers are the #1 wiper blades in America. That means all kinds of drivers choose Rain-X. Big drivers in small cars choose Rain-X. Small drivers in big cars choose Rain-X. Drivers with long hair and short commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with short hair and long commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with pets on board, babies on board, and bored babies on board choose Rain-X. Basically, drivers who love a clear view of the road all choose Rain-X wipers, the #1 wiper blades in America.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
You've been wiring pounds to a second wife in London.
It's not what it looks like.
And here she is now.
Sure it isn't.
Hello, darling.
Elizabeth?
Did you know our husband used a bank instead of Wise to send you money?
What an imbecile. Well,
see, even your secret wife knows that banks are slow and hide fees in overseas transfers.
Those cheaters.
If you want to send money overseas, use Wise. They're faster and they don't hide fees.
You can save up to 70% when you send money abroad. Be smart. Get Wise. Learn more by visiting wise.com. T's and C's apply.
The markets and the economy will change, but you should always know what you can rely on from your financial advisor. I'm John Ramsire with Baird Private Wealth Management in Seattle. With deep planning and investment expertise, Baird's financial advisors have guided individuals and families through changing markets for more than 100 years. And in all that time, our guiding principle has never changed. Our clients come first, always. Discover the Baird difference at rwbaird.com/Seattle.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these 3 books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Hi, I'm Justin Shirley. We offer 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 24 months on new roofs. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. The Department of Defense has carried out a lethal strike on another suspected drug trafficking vessel in the Eastern Pacific. Secretary Pete Hegseth posting on social media that the vessel was known by U.S. intelligence to be involved in illicit narcotic smuggling, traveling along a known narco-trafficking route, and carrying drugs. Hegseth says 4 men aboard the vessel were killed. Former Central Illinois Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson was charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder, but a jury has found him guilty of second-degree murder for the fatal shooting of Sonia Massey. She was shot in her home last year after calling police about a possible prowler. Massey's father, James Wilburn, after hearing the verdict.
There's a difference in this country when you have my skin color and Grayson's skin color. We need serious justice, not a miscarriage of justice that happened here in Peoria.
Grayson's lawyers say their client feared that Massey was going to throw a pot of hot water at him. His sentencing is set for January 29th. As Hurricane Melissa heads toward the central Bahamas with 90-mile-per-hour sustained winds, cleanup is underway in Jamaica, where it slammed into the island yesterday with 185-mile-per-hour winds. A trail of destruction kills dozens in Jamaica, Haiti, and Cuba. Relief agencies in the U.S. are scrambling to help. CBS's Michael Wallace.
The group American Friends of Jamaica has already raised $1 million. President Wendy Hart hopes to raise another $1 million.
That will go to immediate relief efforts and rebuilding efforts.
The Jamaica Independence Foundation is collecting donations. CEO J. Lexi Brooks.
So we're hoping to target single mothers with children who are displaced.
Greg Martin and his group Disaster Relief at Work will fly in donated supplies.
Someone after a storm might say, man, I need one thing. And then they get a kit of 17 items and they're like, actually, I need it all.
President Trump is in South Korea as he continues his Asia tour.
Ahead of a scheduled meeting with China's President Xi, President Trump announced a deal with South Korea to share highly sensitive technology that would allow the South to build its own nuclear-powered submarine. South Korea's president says his country's goal is to modernize its alliance with the U.S. and to increase military spending to reduce America's responsibilities in the region. China has nuclear-powered submarines. North Korea is building one, posing a threat to both South Korea and the United States. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, Washington.
Jurors convict a California animal rights activist for taking 4 chickens from a Purdue Farms poultry plant. Zoe Rosenberg has been found guilty of trespassing and felony conspiracy and faces more than 5 years in prison. She says she was rescuing the chickens, but prosecutors say she broke the law. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Coming up, a Microsoft outage hitting businesses all around the world. That's after Nate Connors at the Real Time Traffic Desk.
All right, Aaron, this report brought to you by Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Let's start up north, Everett to Marysville. You're looking all right this afternoon, taking less than 15 minutes to make that trek. Seattle to Everett at 50 minutes. You're slow from the U District through Linwood. Bellevue to Everett, 55. Pretty solid backup between Kirkland and Alderwood. Got a little breathing room through Canyon Park. Everett to Seattle at 45 minutes. You've got a brief backup now, South 5 at the Boeing Freeway. Your typical backup through Linwood for a couple miles, and then you're thick from 80th down to I-90. Bellevue to Renton is at 40 minutes. You're bumper to bumper at 520 to Cold Creek Parkway, and then you're going to clear out right away all the way down to State Route 167, where another backup forms all the way over to I-5. North 405 still jam-packed from I-5 and South Center into the Renton S-curves from an earlier crash. South Center to Bellevue at a half hour. Seattle to Federal Way is a 50-minute commute. Really solid still from Interurban Avenue down to State Route 516. Lake Washington Windows has been voted best in the Northwest. To celebrate, save 25% off new windows through October and defer payment for the next 12 months. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Hey, good evening. I'm Aaron Granillo. An IT outage at Microsoft is impacting businesses worldwide today. KIRO News Radio's Frank Lindsay reports the problems are connected to the company's Azure cloud network.
When Azure started having problems, it meant people around the world had trouble getting access to things like Office 365, Minecraft, and Xbox Live. Ian Schur, a tech contributor for CBS News, says this is similar to Amazon's recent cloud outage.
It's not just that this system is having a bad day, it's that it could cause other systems to break as well, and it just continues to be a problem.
Microsoft's situation caused trouble for Alaska Airlines and its website and other online systems. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Latest update from Microsoft says the problem should be fully resolved by about 5:40 tonight. Most services are back up and running. As Election Day draws closer, Washington's Secretary of State is urging voters to skip the Postal Service.
If you want your vote counted, drop your ballot off at an official ballot box. That's the guidance from Secretary Steve Hobbs. While the rule is if your ballot is postmarked, your vote counts. Under new Postal Service standards, there's no guarantee your ballot will be stamped the same day the Postal Service collects it. Bottom line, Pierce County Elections official Kyle Hogg says,
you need to make sure that you're getting your ballot postmarked. You're going to utilize the mail. You can't just rely on putting it in the box in front of your home.
Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Workers will be paying slightly more next year to fund Washington's paid family and medical leave program. Starting January 1st, the premium rate rises to 1.13%. That is up from 0.95%. Workers and their employers do pay for that program. Hundreds of families entered the Tacoma Dome today for a pop-up emergency food distribution center. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has more.
Many of the families seeking help are already on food assistance programs. Others have never found themselves in need until now. Food prices are high. SNAP and other food assistance programs end at the beginning of next month due to the government shutdown. Parents like Ernestine Wiggins are worried.
This don't make no sense. Everything is going to be out of control next month, and I hate to see it.
The event is sponsored by Eloise's Food Bank. They expect to help 20,000 more families than they did last month. In Tacoma, James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
And your forecast now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Nice through tomorrow, some more clouds, though, for Thursday. Friday starts off dry. Rain moves in late. Right now, 58 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
Hi, you've reached the John Curley Show listener introduction line.
Oh, good.
Please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you enjoy the show. Thank you.
I don't think we're going to necessarily ask for a declaration of war. I think we're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country. Okay? We're going to kill them. You know, they're going to be like dead.
Hey, thank you for that. There you go. That's how that's going to work. I think the last number is in 43. Yep. And the president was asked, well, don't we have boats fast enough? Couldn't we just go get them in the boat? And he said they've got very fast boats. Boats that are very fast. Boats that are faster than our fastest boats, but they can't outrun a missile.
I actually heard from Benny the tugboat expert that their boats are not that fast and that they can't even carry enough fuel to get to where the president is alleging they're trying to get to.
Who can't get there? Our boats? Their boats?
Their boats. The drug runners. The alleged drug runners.
Oh, okay. Right. Well, as he's left the voicemail message saying that you're going to be dead.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. All right, what is this day? How many days have we been shut down with the government? Shut down, government shut down all together. Let's see.
29?
Yeah, so Everett Kelly, president of the American Federation of Government Employees, tells CNN Jake Tapper that the shutdown needs to end now. Oh, hold on. He said, first turn your computer on, Curly.
This whole fiasco need to be resolved. It need to be ended. And people need to do their job, right? And if people are doing their job, guess what? America wouldn't be hungry. Guess what? Federal employees wouldn't be standing in lines to get food. People just need to do their job.
So is your message right now to Democrats in the Senate open to reopen the government and then get back to work? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. I'm saying that the American workforce should be at work providing the services for the American people, and in the process, they should get paid because they're just like the rest of America. 65% of America live from paycheck to paycheck. And when these employees are providing the services for the American people, they should get paid so that they can make sure that a single mom that I've talked to over the course of the last few weeks that need to make sure that they have child care taken care of. They need medication, mortgages are due, they need gas to put in their car to go to work. So sure, I'm saying that it needs to be resolved and it needs to be resolved now.
Yeah, it's a continuing CR. I think it's till the 21st of November. They sent him this thing a while ago. Here it is. Here's the money to keep it going. Just vote on it. Vote yes on it. Don't close the government down. I think where they need 4 votes or something like that. Mm-hmm. Just vote on it. The money will go, and then we can talk about, continuing to fund the failing health care that we provide here in the United States.
Which you think they will?
They have to. Listen, the union guys are like, do it, right?
You think that even after they vote on the continuing resolution, that the Republicans will eventually cave?
Yeah, of course they'll cave to it, because once the government gives you something, it can never take it back. Never. It just keeps growing bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And Republicans don't want to be, you guys you're mean. You took away grandma's health care or something like that. They're going to cave on it because they all want to get elected. So they'll continue to spend money that they don't have. Tapper asked New Mexico Congresswoman Stanberry whether or not they're going to open.
Should the Democratic senators from New Mexico, your home state, vote to open the government so that these SNAP funds are not at risk?
Let me be clear.
Oh, God, let me be clear. Let me be clear.
The administration is choosing to starve American children with money that they already have appropriated.
I'm not applauding their
by
tactics.
The White House.
Well,
this is a choice by the White House.
This
they
is
are
also,
choosing
Congresswoman,
to
this
cut
is
off
also a
food
choice
assistance.
by Senate Democrats
No,
to not
it is
vote
not.
to open the government. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
This
I understand
Senate,
why they're doing it. I understand the reasoning.
Sir, let me just be clear.
Yeah.
If you feel so strongly, Congresswoman, why not ask the Senate Democrats from New Mexico to vote to open the government?
Yeah. If kids are starving, then vote yes. Open it up. Put the money out there. It's a continuing resolution. The government ran out of money. So they did a thing called a CR. a continuing resolution that says, okay, we found some money. We're going to give you this, but we're out of budget. So take this money and then give everybody all the money so these kids don't starve. No, it's now what has happened is it's like they've taken the hostage. They're going to have to start shooting the hostages because they don't have any other move on this thing. You get Republican John Thune. He's in there. He's a leader in the Senate.
Let me just point out, if I might, that we are 29 days into a Democrat shutdown. And the senator from New Mexico was absolutely right. SNAP recipients shouldn't go without food. People should be getting paid in this country. And we've tried to do that 13 times. And you voted no 13 times. This isn't a political game. These are real people's lives that we're talking about. And you all have just figured out, 29 days in, that, there might be some consequences.
Yep.
There are people who run out of money.
Yep.
Yeah, we're 29 days in. And they've done their best to make sure that a lot of these programs are funded. But at some point, the government runs out of money.
Yeah. He says that he's staying hopeful for the results. He said that.
I remain hopeful that there are enough sane Democrats who are not so afflicted with Trump derangement syndrome, because that is what this is about. Fundamentally. Nothing more, nothing less, nothing else. This is about Trump derangement syndrome. And it has broken out over here in a way unlike anything I've seen in my time here. Disagree with the president, that's fine. Come down here, make statements, cast votes. Don't take the American people hostage.
Yeah, the woman from New Mexico, somebody should read her the Constitution, understand Article 2, the power of the president. I would say to her, Melody Stansbury, whatever, tell me how many checks the president can write. Who controls the checkbook in the United States? It's Congress. Not the Senate, the House. They control it. That's why the Founding Fathers said every 2 years you could fire those people because we're going to give them the checkbook. They write the checks. The president doesn't write the checks. So he don't have the money. Congress said, hey, here's a continuing resolution. Just vote on it. We need 4 of you guys to vote on this thing. Then we'll open the government back up again. And then you want to go in there and continue to spend money we don't have and run the deficit even higher, say $39 trillion. Go ahead. But it's on them. The other weird thing that they've been talking about is at KIRO 7, do we have sound of the air traffic controller people? Is that in there somewhere? No. So the KIRO 7 is air traffic controllers and CTAC are now working without pay. Okay, you don't have sound on it. So I looked up, this is in the state of Washington, and I'm looking at the state of Washington compared to the rest of the United States when it comes to air traffic control. So we rank 28th as far as salary. The low end is about $76,000 a year, $76,190. Top 10% of air traffic controllers in Washington make $171,340. Then on average, it's about $100,000, that air traffic control. Washington guys make $141,900 a year. That's the up to $190,000. That's about the average in there. That's Washington. We're ranking 28th. California is 20th in there. But okay, you're making let's just make the number easy. You're making $150,000 a year, and you're going to a food bank? Huh? I mean, you're living that close to the bone that you have no savings? I don't know. Text 1-888-973-5476. You make $150,000 a year. On average, 11 out of 19 air traffic controllers are married. If you're a female, that's 5 out of 13 are married. So let's just assume that the guy, it's a guy, he's making $150K. He's an air traffic controller. He's married. Let's assume his wife's working as well. Let's give her $80,000. So let's say bring him in at $200,000. Nice, easy number. $200,000 annual income, and you're waiting in line at a food bank, or you're waiting for SNAP money. I'm sorry, the numbers don't make sense. Unless
I can't imagine they would qualify for SNAP or anything.
Anybody can fill out any garbage you want to get SNAP because they don't check it. But let's say they're not doing the SNAP thing, and the amount of money they give you in the SNAP thing is so small anyway. But let's say it's $200,000. So what is your mortgage so high? You got what, 2 car payments? You have nothing in savings, because they do have a program. They do have like not quite a 401k, but they do have a pension in there. To me, that just seems like if you're both married, you're both pulling in $200 after taxes in the state of Washington, when you did like 30% out of that. So $60,000 comes out. So you're like at $140 your net on that. And you're going to a food bank. I'm sorry. I don't know. The media is so corrupt on this sort of crap that I just can't believe, unless somebody will say, hey, I'm an air traffic controller. I make $79,000. That's the gross. Net out of that thing, pull 30 out. So then, I'm really only making like $52,000 plus all the taxes and the rest of the crap. Yeah, now that's tough. If you're making $52,000, that's going to be hard, right? You're not going to have that of money, but you have no savings in there, and you go immediately from no pay to waiting in line at a food bank. That's stories that the local media especially loves those stories. I saw one in the Seattle Times when this woman, she went online to look for health care, and now it's going to go up, from what I know is $700 a month. She's paying up to possibly $2,000. And what is she?
I think it was $1,100 to like $2,100.
$2,100, right? So I looked her up, and I thought, okay, who is she? So I see who she is. And she's living there, and so I look up where she lives. I see the value of her house. I see the jobs that she's had. I look her up on LinkedIn. I'm like, what? Oh, really? That woman's hurting for money? It's really interesting because Seattle Times wants to push it a particular way. All these people, Trump's such a horrible guy, and this poor person has to pay more for health care, and they're really struggling. They've got a picture of her sitting there at the computer looking very concerned. It's like, yeah. Well, careful who you decide you're going to use for examples on this sort of stuff.
Well, you pointed out too that even if her premium increase was still going to be like $900, even if they extended the Obamacare subsidies,
right?
It was a difference of like $100 or $200. It was still going to go up by that.
It's going up a little bit, yeah. But it's all Trump, and that whole Obamacare thing is a total and absolute fraud, right? We're going to bring down premiums. We're going to insure everybody. And if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. None of that stuff is held up to be true. Amazon cuts more than 2,300 jobs in Washington State. It's big, broad layoffs that are coming. They're just simply trying to cut their full-time employees as they look more towards AI. They have, I think at some point, they're going to have to do a ratings call, and they're going to have to show where their numbers are moving if Amazon continues to have its stock. I think stock went up a little bit. People like to see that you're concerned with how much money you're spending. The other part of the problem is that when COVID was going on, they hired a whole bunch of people because the government made everybody sit at home and order crap online so you could buy stuff from Amazon. They loved it. They made so much money because everybody's stuck not doing anything. The government was giving money to people so they could sit at home and buy stuff. So Amazon had to hire and hire and hire and hire. A lot of these tech companies overhired, and now they're going back down to where they think they need to be. Plus, when you include AI into the mix, that's what you end up with. Plus, Amazon has announced that they're replacing 500,000 jobs with robots. Yeah, because the robots can pick, pack, and ship, and they don't have anybody complaining. You're not going to have people wanting to go on strike or trying to unionize, because the robots are still at this point not unionized.
That's a big problem though for South Lake Union and parts of downtown because of the trickle effects,
right?
The businesses that those employees.
I remember what happened when they made everybody sit at home so they didn't kill their grandmother. You would go down to South Lake Union, and it was just a ghost town. So all the guys that used to have the taco trucks out front and the pet washing and the pet sitting, they went out of business. And the interesting thing was there was a relationship between those businesses in South Lake Union and Amazon. And they said, listen, if you come in here, then provide all these service for all of our employees, we'll help you out. And then when everything got locked down, then they were hurting. So Amazon was writing checks to a lot of these small businesses. Hey, stick around. We're trying to help you as much as we possibly can. When we finally do get a chance to come back, you can wash dogs and walk dogs, and you can have a spa there and a place to get your hair cut, and you can have places for food. But boy, there was nothing down there when they sent everybody home. And the number on Boeing is something like every Boeing employee, I think there's 7 jobs attached. So remember in Boeing, when the engineers went on strike, the guys were on strike, and then you kept talking about the downstream effect of one Boeing job. 7 jobs are affected to it. So that's what we have going on right now, in a much smaller capacity because of the federal dollars not flowing around. But this idea that kids are going to starve to death because they're not getting SNAP, that's that person just wanting to be clear. Let's make a prediction. Let's see.
The tide has turned. The PR tide has definitely turned.
Yeah, right. Because now the media realizes. The media is one of these things. With blood in the water, then they all follow over to those. They realize, oh, my God, we can't continue to talk about, oh, it's Trump's fault, it's the Republicans' fault. Because they look at it. They're like, people don't believe this anymore. Just vote on it. Just get 4 votes. Vote yes on the continuing resolution, and then get the Republicans to sit down, because you already have them by the shorties, because they're not going to take away something that has already been given. That's the way it works. Once government gives you something, it never wants to take it away, because then everybody's going to talk about how horrible and mean-spirited everybody is.
So you think they open it up by the weekend?
Well, before the weekend? What is it? After Halloween? Friday? Beginning of November? Yeah, maybe November 1st, right? Open it back up again?
I don't make predictions.
Thank you, Aaron.
I turned to look for him.
Yeah, he's not here. Okay, let's just put some money on it. What do you think? Anybody?
After going through the news today and hearing how many people are now blaming the Democratic senators, I think that they will by probably at least Monday at the latest.
Anybody else want in on this? Snickers bars all around.
I don't make predictions.
Okay, never mind. It's no fun. All right, let's go to Nate in traffic. Checking traffic. What's your prediction?
It's a mess out there. The Emerald Queen Casino has our update. Seattle to Everett, 45 minutes. It's slow from the U District through Linwood. We've got a couple new collisions, though, that just happened in the past couple minutes. The first at Northeast 155th and Shoreline in your right lane, and then another collision just past the Linwood interchange. It's on your left shoulder, but drivers are slowing down at the scene. Bellevue to Everett, 55 minutes. Pretty solid still from Kirkland to Alderwood. It gets real thick in Alderwood due to our new crash there on I-5. Everett to Seattle has climbed back up to 55 minutes, 35 from Linwood. Still got a brief backup there, South 5 at the Boeing Freeway in South Everett. Then a couple miles of backup through Linwood, and then really thick from Lake City Way to I-90. Bellevue to Renton has improved, though, to a half hour. It's bumper to bumper from 520 to Cold Creek Parkway. Then you're going to clear out right away all the way into South Center, where another backup starts near the West Valley Highway. Seattle to Federal Way is down to 35 minutes. The Emerald Queen Casino is the entertainment capital of the Northwest, the best place to watch all your favorite sports. Featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, kiosks, and more. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Thank you. Home Comfort Alliance coming up with another really brilliant move. They've got this thing called the Quilt Ductless Heat Pump System. Here's how it works. Let's say you want to set the temperature in the bedroom when you go upstairs to go to bed. You have a certain temperature. You were downstairs in the kitchen making dinner, having a snack or something like that. You got the temperature right for that room. Let's say you're not in another room because you're not going into that room. So turn the temperature down there. So you're basically controlling the temperature throughout the house, and that gives you comfort. But more importantly, you'll sleep better knowing that you're saving money. Because now the nice thing is, while you're going to bed and you're sleeping, you're not heating the rest of the house. Maybe you want to have the one room nice and warm when you go downstairs and make yourself a cup of coffee. So the Quilt Ductless Heat Pump System allows you to do that. So you are controlling the temperature, it's highly customized, and you're saving money. There are tax credits available, but some of those are going to be going away soon, so you want to get in touch with Home Comfort Alliance as quickly as possible. You can do that right now. Go to homecomfortalliance.com.
The Northwest's trusted news source, KIRO News Radio.
Police in Federal Way are investigating what appears to be a car explosion.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is live from the neighborhood.
I can't tell you enough how crazy this scene is here.
Coverage you depend on.
A massive police presence in Kent.
From voices you know and trust.
We have an active fire inside one of these buildings here.
KIRO News Radio. on 97.3 FM, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Jason Rance here with our local tax expert and advocate Greg Nunn from None Better Tax Resolution. When it comes to the technology that the IRS is using, they're updating systems that haven't been updated in decades. And while that might sound great for them, it's usually bad for the taxpayer who owes.
It is, and their systems, unfortunately, they're just legacy systems. If you try to make an inquiry on some things, it's like you got to know how to use programming language to find it. But they are working on updating that system, and I hope that really they do, because it'll serve us better, the taxpayer better, and get things done quicker. The other thing they're doing is AI, just like every organization. So they're already using it to some extent to put in profile of certain things that they want to look for in a taxpayer and find those people and go after them or see what's going on, why they're not getting their money.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, call Greg Nunn, None Better Tax Resolution, 425-947-1967, or Google NUNN, None Better Tax Resolution.
It's hard to be a homeowner, we know.
Without American Crawl Space and Pest Services, it is hard to be a homeowner. Dave Ross here. American Crawl are the heroes to call for insulation and pest issues because in addition to their great reviews and decades of experience, they also give out the most PSE insulation rebates of any insulation company in the state.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Get your free inspection at AmericanCrawl.com.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
1-877-CARS for kids. KARS, Cars for kids. 1-877-CARS for kids. Donate your car today.
Call 1-877-CARS for kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now.
1-877-CARS for kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street on a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
Health insurance is broken, but it doesn't have to be. That's why Scan Health Plan was founded as a nonprofit, so we can create Medicare Advantage plans that focus on the real needs of seniors. We've been people first since 1977, and we're here to make Medicare work hard for you, because you deserve more than a broken system. You deserve a plan that fights for you. Visit scandifference.org to learn more. Scan Health Plan is an HMO plan with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Scan Health Plan depends on contract renewal.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good evening, I'm Aaron Granillo. A major legal battle is unfolding in the Northwest as a panel of judges weighs whether President Trump can deploy Oregon National Guard troops to Portland. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is following.
It's been a legal teeter-totter. Earlier this month, Oregon won a temporary restraining order blocking the move. Last week, a Ninth Circuit panel ruled the president could federalize 200 Oregon troops. But now the full court has stepped in, putting the deployment on hold while 11 judges review the case. Reaction from Portland Mayor Keith Wilson.
We have said all along that the number of federal troops that we need in Portland is 0.
Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
More than 30 years after the crime, a man is found guilty of killing a Renton woman and her little boy. KIRO News Radio's Frank Lindsay has the updates.
A King County jury has convicted 55-year-old Jerome Frank Jones in the 1994 murders of 23-year-old Stacy Ann Falcon Dewey and her 3-year-old son Jacob. Renton police found their bodies on a dead-end road on October 28, 1994. DNA helped investigators link Jones to the killings. He was already in prison in California for an unrelated murder. He'll be sentenced in this case on December 12th. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Microsoft kicked off its fiscal year with better than expected earnings. CEO Satya Nadella says the company's first quarter sales grew 18% to nearly $78 billion.
It was a very strong start to our fiscal year.
The results came a day after a new deal with OpenAI pushed Microsoft to a $4 trillion valuation. Shares in Microsoft have dropped as the company is managing an IT outage affecting its cloud computing services. That outage is all virtually resolved. The Federal Reserve cut interest rates today by another quarter points, but Chairman Jerome Powell says a future rate cut in December that is far from certain. Economist Diane Swank.
The Fed is worried about the labor market. What I'm concerned about as well, I am worried about the labor market where we've got an economy that produces growth but no jobs.
And today's cut brings the benchmark rate to below 4% for the first time in nearly 3 years. Let's go now to the real-time traffic desk, checking in with Nate Connors.
This report brought to you by Seattle Sports. Seattle to Everett, 50 minutes. You've got heavy volumes from Northgate into Linwood, right at the Linwood interchange, actually, where a collision is on your left shoulder. And then we also cleared our collision near 155th and Shoreline, so no more blocking issues here. Bellevue to Everett back up to 1 hour. It is solid from 520 in Kirkland all the way to the Alderwood interchange. Everett to Seattle, 55 minutes, 35 from Linwood. Got a brief backup there, South 5 and South Everett at the Boeing Freeway, and that's almost gone. So really, we're down to a backup in Linwood, and then pretty thick from Lake City Way to I-90. Bellevue to Renton, we're at a half hour. It's heavy from 520 to Cold Creek Parkway, and then you're going to clear out right away all the way down to South Center, where this backup starts near the West Valley Highway over to I-5. Seattle to Federal Way, we're down to 35 minutes. Your backup starts, we'll call it Interurban Avenue, down to 516. North 405 still slows a bit through South Center up past or into the Renton S-curves, and our Lake Bridges are looking starting to thin out. Westbound 90 is thinning out, but westbound 520 remains heavy across the lake over to Montlake. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube and click subscribe to get fresh video content daily. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
And your forecast brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Going to be nice tonight and into tomorrow. More clouds for Thursday. Friday, we start the day off dry. Rain moves in late, just in time for trick-or-treating. Right now, looking at 57 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Someone on the board with that one, Andrew. We're trying to listen to Aaron in here, and you're in there making mistakes. Janie knew that. Janie, you'd be so kind.
I do not know.
I don't know what that means. Spin the wheel. There we go. There goes the wheel, round and round. Names of all the players are on the board. Bright yellow colors, red, green, blue, white, yellow, and red. And then it spins around and lands, on me. I am going to take an egg, and I am going to hold it up to Aaron's forehead as he watches the Blue Jays, Dodgers, and the heat coming off of his head will cook the egg. There we go.
Yum!
There we go. Wow. We call that the Aaron Forehead Egg Special.
Hope he wears a hairnet.
He's not gonna smash it. He's just gonna hold it near his head. There you go. That's the there's your Wilcox Flame Farm Eggs recipe.
You're gonna keep it in the shell.
In the shell. Just hold it in your head like this.
All right.
All right. That's Wilcox Flame Farm Eggs. Okay, let's see. This is big news. I think this. When did Bill Gates decide that that climate change is not a existential threat to the rest of us?
He published his thoughts yesterday.
I got it. Okay. Here's what happened. He has always been, Bill Gates and the Gates Foundation has always been funding basically on the idea that, well, the world's coming to an end. We need to do everything we can to move to net zero, and let's build all these things, and let's, have all this green energy because the world's coming to an end. We have to get rid of our CO2 emissions because if not, we're all going to die. We're all going to, the floods are coming, burning up everybody, and we're done. And everybody was like, yes. So whenever you read any kind of literature on anything, anybody looking in the nonprofit world was always adding in there, and we're raising money for climate change, and we're also trying to save the world, and we're trying to save the world. Because they knew all the big money's going, so then you just put something in there about climate change. I want to support climate change. So then you send them money. Everybody was all in on that, from Save the Children, United Way, Salvation Army was going to save the world, World Vision International, ASPCA, even Sarah McLachlan was in there, or Sarah is McLachlan, right? Remember that thing? Yeah. She's there with the sad puppy, and then also climate change. Now what's happened, Bill's like, well, maybe not. Maybe it's not an existential threat. Maybe we can use science and technology. Maybe we are able to live with slightly warmer temperatures, just like we did, 1,000 years ago. So now he's decided, he's moving away from it. And where is it? Where is he in here, Joe? Do I have sound on, Bill?
You do. Is it on a push?
Oh, there you go. Boy, you are. Oh. So here's Bill Gates. This is on MSNBC in 2021.
The U.S. government did not get ready for this pandemic, and a modest amount of money, a few billion, would have saved trillions and lots of suffering that even the economic figures don't capture. With climate change, we'll have 5 times the death rate and growing by the end of the century. We'll have, the end of natural ecosystems. Most beaches will disappear.
Right. Okay. Right. So 5 times as many people die. Beaches will disappear.
So although that's kind of a negative message, it's honestly what we need to invest in now to avoid getting to that point. And there's not anything like a vaccine that you can invent when the problem arises that gets you out of the awful situation.
Right. So the beaches are going away. Everyone's going to die. The whole thing's going to be just a complete mess unless we prepare. We weren't prepared for COVID. Let's get prepared for the end of the world. So let's start, forcing people to make a whole bunch of choices they don't want to necessarily make.
Climate change will make entire ecosystems die off. It'll make parts of the world, impossible to live in.
Yeah, and then, nobody's allowed to eat meat.
And that temperature increase leads to some very negative effects. The effects on the weather, perhaps worse, the indirect effects in that the natural ecosystems can't adjust to these rapid changes, and so you get ecosystem collapses.
Yeah.
They will be extremely bad. And so we need energy miracles. Usually we don't have a deadline where you have to get the miracle by a certain date. This is a case where we actually have to drive at full speed and get a miracle in a pretty tight timeline. If we don't get this wish, the division between the people who think short-term and long-term will be terrible, between the U.S. and China, between poor countries and rich, and most of all, the lives of those 2 billion will be far worse.
Yeah, right. And Bill was big on the CCA, the Climate Commitment Act. So when you fill up the gas tank and you pay an extra 50 or 57 cents or something, you can thank Bill. Because when it came to that CCA thing, when we had a chance to vote on it, Bill was all in. He spent a bunch of money telling you, save the planet by giving money to Washington State so that they can then hire a bunch of people and do nothing to reduce the CO2. Because let's face it, with the amount of CO2 coming out of India and China, we're not even a drop in the bucket. But today, Bill's changed his tune.
For decades upon decades upon decades, the worry in terms of climate change, simply put, hasn't shifted. It has not reached the majority of Americans. What are we talking?
Oh, this is CNN talking about it? Yeah. So Bill today, basically, or yesterday, comes out, and then the New York Times quickly comes in and says that that if Gates himself is not betraying the movement, his words are bound to be misused by those who would like nothing more than to destroy the efforts dealing with climate change. He's just saying, listen, you know what? Maybe it's better if we spend money to mitigate and to find new technology rather than trying to make other countries poorer when we try to slap them with a whole bunch of restrictions. We became rich because our use of fossil fuels. You don't think India wants to do the same thing? You don't think when China wants to do the same thing? When you speak to any of the Indian leaders, they'll be like, wait a minute. You used it. You guys got rich. Now you don't want us to use it. This isn't fair. We're going to keep using it. We're going to build coal-powered plants, just like China's going to build them as well. So Bill's like, look, we're not going to stop it that way. So let's try to find science in order so we can live with increasing temperatures. And then today, CNN did a study. Where do people in the United States how much do they care about climate change?
For decades upon decades upon decades, the worry in terms of climate change, simply put, hasn't shifted. It has not reached the majority of Americans. What are we talking about? Greatly worried about climate change. You go all the way back to 1989, it was 35%. 2000, 40%. 2020, 46%. And in 2025, look at that. It's 40%, the same number as we had 25 years ago back in 2000, and then only just 5 points higher than we had back in 1989. Really, we've just seen consistency on this issue. The bottom line is that the climate change message that folks who, of course, believe that climate change is real and is quite worrisome, simply put, has not really worked with the American people.
Yeah, I remember that study where you'd be willing to pay $2 more a month or something to go into the climate change fund, and people are like, no, I'm not going to do that. But you'll be forced to do it in the state of Washington. I would love to be able to get a little sticker I could put on. I don't want to do it because it's not legal. And it would not be nice to the people that run those gas stations. Put a little sticker on there and just show how much CO2 that China emits every single day, right, in metric tons, and then how much we're paying and how much. It would be very hard. It'd be a very big sticker.
Yeah.
But just what a scam this is.
That sounds like a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. Never mind. We're going to do it.
This is all wrong.
Yeah, here we go. Where is she now?
Israel.
Okay, let's check Nate in traffic as people are out there driving around. Nathan.
All right, this report brought to you by the Emerald Queen Casino. Seattle to Everett, 50 minutes. It's still heavy from Northgate up to that Linwood interchange. Bellevue to Everett, 55 minutes. Solid from Kirkland to Alderwood. Linwood to Seattle, 35 minutes. Still got a 2-mile backup through Linwood, and then it's thick again from Lake City Way down to I-90. Crossing the lake from Bellevue to Seattle, 25 minutes on 520. Still pretty thick across the lake. It's a half hour on I-90. It's crowded across the lake, but the backup is further back on Mercer Island. Bellevue to Renton, we've improved a half hour. It's bumper to bumper from 520 to Cold Creek Parkway. Then you're going to clear out right away. In fact, we've cleared out in South Center now. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway is a 40-minute drive. Nothing heavy here, but you are crowded from 405 to South 277th, and then another backup from Pacific into Puyallup. The Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest, is the best place to watch all your favorite sports, featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, kiosks, and more. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
I've run the Seattle Marathon. I don't know how many times. I ran the Marine Corps Marathon. I've done Ironman, half Ironman. I used to just put tons and tons of miles on my body. And then one day, my hip got really bad. And I remember talking to a doctor. He's, well, I guess your running days are over. It was so sad because I had these brand new pair of running shoes. I was like, okay, I guess I can't run anymore. Then I couldn't ride my bike because my hip was so bad. And if I did do any sort of exercise, I couldn't sit in a chair for 10 minutes or drive. And then, well, you have to get a brand new hip, but you're going to have to wait a couple of years because you're too young for an all new hip. We're going to do surgery. I was like, this just sucks. I knew about stem cell. I had been reading about stem cell procedures. I know some people that had them. And I saw that Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at